Okay. We are live and we are back for another show of the Liverpool 12 Man Show. This is going to be something of a consolidated effort of saying thank you to some of the players that have stepped it up and certainly are showing and proving that this season still has something to play for. We brought along for the ride here Lee, as well as we might have JK. Who knows? We might have JK in JK and Smokey like to show up, pop in. But we have Lee with us today. How you doing, Lee?
Good, mate. Good, yeah. Much better after that win anyway. Looking forward to the Gala game now with a certain amount of hope, but still a bit of trepidation at the same time. But yeah, that was much better last night. Like, and a few of them looked like they enjoyed it, didn't they?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, big up to Hylor, by the way, in the chat and those that are joining us. Welcome back. Um, Big up Bonkers, by the way. Big up Bonkers. We're going to talk about the Gravenberch deal. I'll tell you, basically, Liverpool went to the Molineux, got the job done in the FA Cup win over them 3-1 this time. Should have been 3-0, but let's be honest with you, but 3-1 all the same. And in truth, it was a performance that tells completely different stories, I would say, depending on which half of football you really want to find yourself on. And that meaning the first half, which was a little flat, predictable, at times sterile. And then the second half, a Liverpool worth remembering, a Liverpool that we remember pretty much, a little bit more vibrant, a little bit more engaged, a little bit more active. You had goals from Andy, goals from Mo, had goals from Curtis, and all of a sudden it was 3-0. And it's something that some could say, is this an evolution of a team, or is this team finally picking up some type of semblance of figuring out? Then again, it is a team, Wolves, that we lost to recently, or just earlier in the week. So earlier that week, I should say. So tonight we're going to dive into Rio's breakout performance. We're going to dive into the Cody Gakpo selection dilemma. We're also going to get into Ryan Gravenberch locking down a contract with us, so locking down his future with the Reds. We're going to also deal with the growing questions around Arne Slot's future and a vintage performance from Andy Robertson. Yes, our guy, my guy, your guy, our Red right there, Mr. Robbo. So, and then of course, we'll end the show maybe with a little bit of like moments, your moment of Red Zen, just to keep everyone leaving on a positive note, leaving on a happy note, because that's what I think is really sometimes lacking with some of these broadcasts that we partake in or participate in. Like content creators, it's all doom and gloom, and the sky is falling. We'll talk about things. We do talk about things. Not everything's rosy and sweet, but we will deal with also at least trying to make it a happy experience for you at the end. So, Lee, um, I guess what we can talk about is this Wolves game that we just saw. And are you feeling a little bit more upbeat about this team?
After last night's result, yeah, because Tuesday was desperate. I was worrying on Tuesday, like
Hmm.
how bad we were, but this was a significant improvement against the same opposition. So it gets it out of the system quickly anyway, and hopefully we'll be in good shape for the Istanbul game. It'll be important to get a really good result in Istanbul, so we haven't got too much to do at Anfield, like, do you know what I mean?
Hmm.
If we can get a good result there and take some of the, heat out of the tie, so to speak, like by getting, I don't know, a draw or winning there, whatever, that'd be splendid. And then we'd be able to take it a bit easier in the second leg then to get the job done. And hopefully then we might bump into PSG again, mightn't we, after that? Be weird as well. I don't know what Arnie will come up with. Maybe, we could win, it could happen, like, if we played them. Be hard, but it's not impossible. I mean, it was tight last season, although they outplayed us badly in Paris. It was still tight, like, in terms of, like, chances and goals, wasn't it?
Hmm. It
It
was.
was just
It
about
really
beat
was.
us.
Yes, it is still 2-2. We'll keep you updated with that score as it goes along for today. Um, I know that Arsenal's already beaten Mansfield 2-1, by the way, earlier today. The Brentford West Ham game has been postponed, and Newcastle Man City is going to be starting in the next 4 minutes, 4 or 5 minutes, something like that. So, oh, and I just have a score update, by the way. 3-2 Chelsea. Chelsea has just scored against a 10-man Wrexham. So it's a
Yeah.
shame.
I followed the game like from kickoff for like quite a while, best part of half an hour. I followed it like, and they were winning until right up until the end of the first half when a jammy goal from Chelsea got them level. Or it sounded jammy because I didn't see it. Like, once they equalised, I thought it's going to be hard for them to win this second half because Chelsea have got like men on the bench they can bring on and that. But they put up a good
Mm,
fight.
mhm.
Just hope they can hang on for pens. If they can hang on for pens, that'd be great. They're funny if Chelsea went out on pens.
It's Garnacho who's the you mentioned Garnacho earlier
Mm.
backstage. Garnacho is the goal scorer. They make it 3-2.
Oh, right, you just said they've just gone 3-2 up. Sorry, what am I on about going for pens?
Hmm.
Yeah, they won't come back. With 10 men, they won't come back from going a goal down. That much to do
Yeah,
now.
it's gonna be tough. It's gonna be real tough. But you never know. They're at home, right? So maybe
Mm.
their crowd can inspire them to, uplift them to
Maybe a mistake from Chelsea might let them in, but it's going to be hard for them to create anything with one man less against the
hmm
Premiership side in front.
hmm Yeah. It is a tough one for Wrexham to pull that one out, but hopefully they can continue to fight on. 3-2 early on in the extra time. And like I said, the Newcastle Man City game will be starting in 2 minutes, and then the West Ham Brentford game has been postponed. I don't have any information as to why it was postponed, but it was postponed earlier today, and obviously it must be scheduled to happen at another time. Good looking out to everyone joining us. Bonkers has just joined the stream. I see you, Bonkers. Shout out to you as well. Oh man, I guess like what I wanted to talk about in this segment the first segment that I had was like the numbers. And I know people sometimes don't like to talk about the numbers and stats and such, and it's all about the eye test merchants and the likes. But stats do sometimes bring about some clarity for what exactly is going on with what you just saw. And Liverpool's performance at Molineux can be explained by one number, I think, and that is XG. Liverpool produced just 0.44 XG in the first half, which could tell you why I said they were sterile or they were lifeless somewhat in that first half. But then something changed. By the 53rd minute, Liverpool had already generated 1.3 XG and scored twice. And by the end of the game, we had it was like a 1.8, depending on which service you use. It's like around 1.8 XG with 3 goals. And if you look at the statistics, it was pretty much a unique affair, I guess you could say. Like, as in, did you think that we controlled this game, Lee?
Pretty much, yeah.
Okay. From start
Wolves
to
didn't
finish?
create a lot, did they, until later in the game?
Hmm. Yeah, it seemed to me that there was some. I'm probably frozen. Let me sure I'm not opening up another window. Um, it seemed to me that there was more that we could muster up, basically. Big up, Red Armchair supporter, by the way. Big up. Hope that you're well. but it seemed like there was like more that we could possibly muster up, if you know what I mean. Um, Possession 67% to 33%, basically. I thought I had a graph for the actual stats, but I guess I don't. Um, and I hate when you're supposed to have something and you look for it and you don't see it. But um, but yes, it was a case where we had possession. We certainly had possession, but sometimes possession doesn't mean that you are controlling a game. You know, 4 shots to our 20 shots, 9 on target, one big chance for them, one big chance for us. The one big chance they scored on, obviously, we scored on our big chance. 92% passing to their 81, fouls about the same, 13-7 in their favor. And then corners, 11 corners. That's the most telling stat of all, I think, was that one, we had 11 corners, and two, Wolves had just 4 shots. It's a testament of what we do in this game and why it's a head scratcher how Wolves beat us last time, Or was that just, or am I maybe thinking too much into it?
No, we did. We had more control last night. Like, we limited them, didn't we? Like, obviously they scored at the end, but there wasn't a massive attack and threat from them. That's why I enjoyed last night's game, because it was a bit more controlled and you could relax watching it, couldn't you? I mean, I didn't feel safe, like, really, until I felt quite safe at 2-0, and then the third just, like, that just put the cherry on it, like, and yes, they got a late goal, but yeah, it was heartening anyway, because we just lost there 72 hours earlier.
Mhm.
So to get our revenge quickly, as I said, gets the defeat out of their system and in the right frame of mind for Istanbul, then Spurs.
Yeah, I mean, realistically, their first shot on target came after they were down 2 goals, right? Then their next shot came after their second shot came down when they were down 3 goals, and then their third was a stoppage time consolation goal.
I can't
So
remember them. I can't remember their shots. They were that few. I can't see
exactly,
any in my mind's eye.
exactly. This game wasn't really close, but it wasn't like it wasn't a demolition derby or something like that. I would say.
Mm.
Um, it seemed like it was a team attempting to survive against a team that kind of figured out, hey, or kind of woke up and said, hey, we can't play to Wolves level, despite being away, despite being in front of their home crowd. We can't play to their level. We have to rise above and get this victory. Um, After the game, Arne Slot said this. He said, "quote I think so." Meaning calm fears afterwards. He said, like when he was talking about McAllister, because I do have an update on McAllister because there was positive news. Um, I thought I thought McAllister was good. I know some people have been very critical of McAllister, um, but I thought McAllister was good in this game, and I thought he had a solid performance. I think he's been having more and more solid performances as of late. It's kind of been our MO this year that you find a player that's doing well or starting to do well, and all of a sudden gets injured. You know, whether it's Isak finally scores a goal, and he's injured on the goal, injured on the opportunity. Leone has a good game and he's injured, you know, in the game later on in the game. Um, you can go. The list goes on with all the players that we have that have like succumbed to injuries this year. But
Mm.
but there's a heavy challenge on him from Wang Hee-chan, and Arnie Slot said after the game, or said this recently actually, that he thinks so. Quote, I think so. Quote, yes, Slot said when asked if McAllister was all right. And that matters because the midfield suddenly looks dangerous again, I would say, right? Doesn't it? Would you say that our midfield looked good yesterday? Or not yet, but in the
Yeah,
game
it looked
against Wolves?
better. It looked better, and it will be significantly improved by Florian Wirtz's imminent return. So and it'll also give him the option of playing Wirtz and Frimpong's back now. So he might drop Salah's form, doesn't get better, and put Sabo on the right, because that's what he did first of all when Mo went to AFCON, wasn't it? Now, I'm not advocating for him to do it. I'm just saying that is an option for him once Wirtz is back, because Don won't be needed at right back with Frimpong and Gomez back now. So, yeah, we'll have that option then, won't we?
Yeah, I mean, this midfield, I think, looked dangerous. I think this midfield, which was arguably the best midfield last season, I think it still can have components of being that dangerous midfield that we saw last season. It's just a matter of getting form and everyone being completely healthy at the same time. But Florian Wirtz has returned from injury, which is key. Gravenberch looked like he was starting to get a little bit of his, swagger back. Curtis Jones picked up his form as well, got a goal, which is well appreciated, I should say. I just think Liverpool's midfield, for the first time, maybe in weeks, looked relatively complete. I mean, think about it. There's, other than maybe Endo and Bajcetic, who Endo doesn't get minutes really, and Bajcetic has been, out of the lineup since the start of the season for the most part. We finally had a midfield that included the key players that would be chosen normally and more routinely.
Sorry, just apologising for sneezing.
Oh no! Bless you. Just in tight, I should say. How about that? But it's perfect timing. We're gonna go for a trip to Galatasaray. Turkey is not going to be a pleasant environment for us at all. It wasn't last time. We all know that the fans and the atmosphere at that stadium is brutal. So much so that their fans aren't even allowed to travel with the team to Anfield for the second leg. Now they're appealing that decision, but most likely that decision will stick. What is it? I would say this: is Liverpool's midfield now the strongest part of the squad again? Would you say that we could finally say that maybe our midfield is set to be the engine of our team once again, or is this a one-off with our
We need
midfield?
to add to it, I think. I think most of us will agree that we need a DM, don't we? A proper DM, and I've Gravenberch ahead of him. I think that'd be a good thing, and it'd still be like there'd be competition for places. Then like more competition for places. Make sure we get good performances all the time, because it's been bad this season in the midfield, hasn't it? Like it's been noticeably bad up until now. But we're seeing. I don't want to say it really, but we are seeing signs of recovery, and hopefully that'll be something that
Don't want to jinx it.
now. Yeah, don't want to jinx it. Yeah, but it looks a bit better recently.
I'll ask you this: do you think that Liverpool dominated Wolves, or do you think that Wolves simply played to not lose the game?
No, we were just better than them. So all really like we had better players, and it showed. They were able to beat us, like as I said, 72 hours earlier, but they couldn't in that game. So, but yeah, it's just it's good anyway, because it puts us back on the right track. And I didn't want to fall into a position like we have defeats in a row. So at least not going out there was good.
They did rotate. I did see that. They, just like us, have to recognize the fact that we have a Premier League schedule. I know that despite the fact that Wolves are bottom of the table, they're not giving up, I think. I believe that it's for some way, somehow, some reason, Wolves believe at least that they can finish the year strong and maybe get a miracle and survive. relegation. I know it's difficult to believe that, um, but yes, that's what they believe. They've had two big wins. Consider it that way. They beat Villa. They beat Liverpool.
Mm. And
Two
the
teams.
Arsenal draw sparked it off, didn't it? Getting that draw away
Exactly.
to Arsenal sparked it off for them. They'll have a little
Exactly.
go at it. I think they'll continue to get some more points, but it looks beyond them. Can't see how they get out of the relegation zone. They could
Yeah.
possibly jump ahead of Burnley, like into 19th, but that's about as far as they're going, I think.
Yeah. It's a case where they have Brentford, they have West Ham, they have Leeds, they have Spurs, they have Brighton, they have Fulham, and then they have Burnley. Those aren't that. Those aren't unwinnable games, by the way. That's their run. They have 8 games left in the Premier League. Not saying they're going to go on an 8-game winning streak, but all things considered, they could, if they were to pick up, let's say 7 out of 7 wins. I mean, a lot of the teams that they're facing off against: Spurs, bottom of the table; Leeds, bottom of the table; West Ham, bottom of the table; Brentford, mid-table team at best. Sunderland's going to be a tough one because Sunderland's had a good year. Sunderland's definitely cooled a bit, but Sunderland's going to be tough. But it is at Wolves. It is home. They do have a home game against Sunderland. Then they have to travel to Brighton. It's going to be a tough game there. They host Fulham, and then they have to go to Burnley. I don't think it's over for them. I know it's very unlikely. I'm not saying it is impossible, but 24 points would be a 40-point season, and I think that gets them out of relegation. You agree or no? Maybe
Yeah,
not.
yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Well, not to. I know this isn't a Wolves channel, but I'm just saying that it's not over. 16 points is what they sit on. Burnley at 19, West Ham at 29 or 28, excuse me. Um, so it's. I mean, like that bottom of the table is a cluster. Um,
It is a tall
Tottenham.
order for them to get out of it at this stage, though. If they do it, it'll be the Great Escape. It'd
I
probably
don't.
be like, I can't remember one like that for ages. There have been other ones where teams have just come off the bottom of the league and got wins and just about stayed up, but I can't say it take
Yeah,
a
I have to see. I'm
extreme
gonna
set
look.
of results in both ways, like for them to win a lot and the others to lose enough for them to
Mhm,
overtake them. But good luck to them. I don't mind Wolves. I don't like Forest, so I'd rather Forest went down than West Ham. I
mhm.
don't really mind Forest actually. In fact, I don't mind them at all in a lot of ways, but I mind them more than the others. We haven't got a good record away to Forest, so it'd be better if they were in the division. Simple as that, really. Just looking at it from a practical angle, like we don't have a great record in Nottingham, so I'd rather not go there at all.
Um, Big up Abdul. I was saying, I don't think it's impossible. That's my point. I don't think it's impossible. Anything's possible. I know it's the bottom of the table. I know that they've looked miserable this entire season. But as of late, they've definitely picked up a little bit of resilience under this manager, and they've obviously shown fight. They've beaten us. They've beaten Villa. They've held firm with Arsenal. Those are top tier teams that they should have had L's against, and they pulled out points, if not got some type of, maybe even got multiple points with those teams. Um, I'll have to see what the future is on Wolves making it out. I'm sure it's probably like a long shot, but I'm going to see what the future is on them making it out of relegation. Because I'll tell you the truth, Forest and Spurs are poor. I get Forest just played City and had a uh, big, big result getting a draw against City, right?
Yeah.
But Spurs are poor, man, and it has nothing to do with Thomas Frank. It has nothing to do with Ange anymore. You can't put it on the backs of that. Spurs look like they need help. So it is an interesting case. Um, let's talk about Ryan Gravenberch's new deal, since a lot of people are talking about that. I see Gravenberch talking
Mhm.
about it. We're talking about midfields. Liverpool have locked down one of the most exciting midfielders in our squad. I think one of the most exciting midfielders in the Premier League, honestly. With Gravenberch, and Gravenberch has the ball at his feet and he does that little turn, it is it can light up a show. And Ryan Gravenberch has signed a new contract until 2032. He obviously signed from Bayern Munich in 2023 for 34.2 million pounds, that is. He's made 123 appearances for Liverpool, which is quite a bit considering that I didn't, he's certainly been a more regular feature in our team, considering he didn't really get that much opportunity under Klopp simply because of injuries. He would get a little bit of a run and then have to, circle back to the start once he got injured. Um, but he started almost every Premier League game this season, and Gravenberch had this to say. He said, I felt directly the trust from the club and the manager. The decision was easy." And that's, I think, very key to what we have to talk about. I mean, I get it. Whether Slot trusts him or not, that's neither here nor there. I mean, Slot is our coach, period. So that is important. There's no guarantee whether he'll be the coach or not coming past the summertime, but for now he is. So that means he'll get regular starts. That means he'll be called upon regularly by a coach that trusts him. And then Gravenberg's combination of press resistance, ball progression, physical presence, I think gives Liverpool that unique difference in our midfield. I I know there's possibly only, I think the only real person I remember being on my side of the argument table, at least, has been, at least for content creators, has been Zuberi. So shout out to Zuberi. And what I'm going to bring up is, I know because I've gotten into little tiffs or little like spats. I won't call them spats. Little arguments, a little bit of heated discussions with Brian or um, Anvil Irishman, and and others, maybe on his channel too. I remember I got into a very, very heated conversation about Gravenberch, but I think that Gravenberch can be a quality DM. I just think that people's interpretation of what they want in their DM is closer to what we had in Fabinho or Mascherano. Wow, bonkers with the big update. Do you see that, Lee? You with me, Lee?
Which I was it
Right there.
3-3, is it? Yeah. Penalties, what? Or 3-3 in score.
It's 3-3 score.
All right. Still going on. Flipping heck. That
Yeah.
seems hours ago now when I started following it from kickoff for most of the first half. That seems still going on.
And I'm gonna be honest. I'm gonna be a Newcastle fan for today. Let's go Newcastle. They just scored one. Well, it's under VAR. They're checking out the goal in that game, but that game just started. It's 20 minutes in, and they're doing a VAR check on the goal. But if it stands, it'll be 1-0 Newcastle.
They're playing
Um,
City, aren't they, Newcastle?
yep, yep,
Yeah.
yep.
Yours get City out. That'd be nice.
Um, trying to see who scored this third goal. Maybe it's going through VAR. Maybe Grav is so far from Mascherano 12th with respect. I agree, Lady B. Shout out to Lady B, by the way. Always a blessing
Hey,
when we have
Bernie.
We have Lady B in the house. What I mean by that is this. Okay, so let me give some clarification as to what I mean by that. Mascherano, Fabinho. I say more so Fabinho than Mascherano, even maybe. You can check me on that. Maybe you believe that Mascherano was more of a destroyer than Fabinho was, but um, they were DMs that were DMs that created a different presence in our midfield. However, you could also say Steven Gerrard was a DM, correct or no? I'm not saying Gravenberch, Steven Gerrard before people go there. Okay. I know that's where I know
There
exactly
has to
where
be
that's going to go.
something different next season, I would say, though, for us to be better again, for us to be an
Uh,
improved side. Um, but I mean, that isn't to say like that if we bought a DM that we wouldn't use him in that position ever. We could use him there and in the eighth,
right, right. Um,
depending on the opposition.
yeah, yeah. That goal has been ruled out. By the way, it's 3-2.
No.
Still waiting on this Newcastle situation too. Looks like it's going to stand. I think. Um, there you go, Bonkers, with me on that one, right? I just think that when it comes to Gravenberg, I just think that Gravenberg produces a different style of DM. And I know people often when they think of DMs, they think of more like your Rodri or maybe even Paulinho or something along those lines. But again, I'm not comparing Gravenberg to Steven Gerrard. I'm just saying that there have been players who have played DM that aren't your outright destroyer style DMs. I mean, right now, McAllister plays DM too, technically. He's played for Brentford and he's also, Brentford, excuse me, he's played for Brighton and he's obviously played it for us in the pivot with Gravenberg. But he's not, I wouldn't go as far as to say McAllister is a DM under the classic perception of it. What is your interpretation of it? What is your interpretation of it? I know you just said that we need a DM. So then, what
Mm.
is it that you're looking for in a
Well,
DM?
it worked
Because I
perfectly
wouldn't.
last
Because I
season,
would.
didn't it? It worked
Because
perfectly last season, but it seems like maybe other clubs have figured it out a bit. And that's why we haven't maybe had that good a season. Like, it hasn't been the same thing as last season. But I mean, yeah, he's a good DM. Like, but I don't know. Maybe you just change the personnel around him then to make it better. I don't know. But at the moment, like, we it just hasn't been that good this season in midfield, has it? I mean, along with the other two departments, defence and attack, just as a whole team, like, but coming from the middle, like, we just struggle to control games, or like, after going in front, say, like, how many times have we gone in front and not being able to hang on to our lead? Just like too many times that's happened.
Mhm. I see. I see. Trudon is saying he's not a DM. To him, he offers no protection. Okay. Um, I just, you know why I think too. Again, I think he was like, I want to. I'll have to look it up, but he was certainly a player that was last season. I think he was one of the top inter- interceptors of the ball, like interceptions. He was one of the top in the Premier League. Um, I don't think that he's the best at ground duels and the likes and such, but I do think that there is a positive behind him in other aspects of his game that create better thing. It's almost like how about this? How about this? Let me give a comparison. Again, I'm not saying that these two players are similar in the sense of that I'm trying to compare them in talent. However, Take, for instance, the criticism that Trent Alexander-Arnold used to get at right back. Now, I argue that Trent Alexander-Arnold is one of the best right backs in the world, especially when, or at least when he played for our team. I argue that. I don't make the argument anymore, but I would argue that Trent Alexander-Arnold, best right back in the world. There was a lot of us that took on that mantle or took on that discussion. Correct. However, most would say that Trent Alexander-Arnold is not your traditional right back. Most would say, I've heard people say, oh, well, Kyle Walker is better, or Reece James is better. And you can make those arguments. But again, a lot of them are making him under the traditional format of what they think a right back is. And that's the argument I'm having here. I know because we've gotten into discussions or conversations where people have brought up alternatives to bring in at DM. And the alternatives are not destroyers themselves. We have a destroyer in Endo on the team as a DM. If we wanted a destroyer, then we would play Endo, even for his lack or his subpar talents or abilities in people's minds. Chances are we would play him in the role if we needed a DM that was a destroyer. Because he's a serviceable player, I believe. He's a very serviceable player. And if he wasn't, he wouldn't get any playing time. He doesn't get that much, but still the same. He wouldn't have gotten any playing time. And why I bring up this is that we have now just signed Gravenberch to an extended deal. So despite the fact that I might not think that he's, or you might not think that he's a DM, there is a concerted, there's possibly a concerted idea here that he is a DM or our version of a DM. Does that sit comfortable with you, Lee, or is that something that you have issue with? Then? Is that what you have more of an issue then with, I should
say? What about getting a new midfielder in?
No, I mean, I know sometimes if I go on my little walks here, I can sometimes lose people. I got you. What I'm saying is like, do you follow at least what I'm saying about the fact that I understand that some people's mindsets on DMs are different. Like I know there's, for instance, I wouldn't mind having Camavinga in this team. Some argue Camavinga. Some argue against his injuries as of late, but more so, some argue that he's not your traditional DM, or he's about the same as a DM as Gravenberch is a DM. Some want Wharton, for instance. Some want Baleba, for instance. But neither of them are really, get down and dirty style destroyers. With that said, do you think that with this deal, Liverpool have just said you might not view Gravenberch as a DM, but they do. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah. See, the thing is, last season, Szoboszlai was in the 10, but now it's Vert. And this season, like, our midfield's just been out fought too easy. So the pivot of him, McAllister, isn't the same as last season, is it? Like, so we might have to have somebody different than McAllister then to get the best out of him, to be able to play there with him. So we're tighter as a team. Somebody with more pace, maybe a little bit more physique than McAllister. I don't know what the answer is there. But Yeah, it's just been a disappointing season all round. It's been disappointing for Gravenberch, disappointing for all the lads. But midfield has been a problem this season, and like he's right at the heart of it. I'm not saying he's the problem; it's the entire midfield. But I mean, Gravenberch and Gakpo and Sal are having help because this season, like we've been playing it out to them, and they've been losing possession more often than not, and then immediately the pressure's on in the middle, like we're being broke on or whatever, and our midfield's just been walked through too many times. So something's got to change for next season for me. I'm not saying that he was good in it. He won us the title in that position, so we can't be that bad. It's just that we've had such a poor season. We can't have it again next season. Can't gamble on that again next season.
Okay. I get what you're saying. I can understand that we need more rotation. I can understand. I think that's something. I was asked by Nalante what was my biggest what did I think was going on with Gravenberg. What was really one of the main reasons why he was struggling just lately or as of late. And I said it's because I think personally it's because of rotation. I think it's like he's played almost every game of the season, and he plays for. Not saying other players don't, but I'm saying that he has played for his international team. Um, he's played for obviously us in all the competitions that we play in, and it can be daunting. And there is no real rotation for him, and that is something I think is necessary. If we were to bring in another DM, which I'm okay with, I'm not against bringing another DM. I'm just saying, where do you play Gravenberg? If you don't want to play him as a DM or you don't see him as a DM, and that's your prerogative. Where do you play Grav? Where do you play him, Lee?
Well, that's Arnie's
Gosh,
question, really, isn't it?
don't
Like,
don't yeah don't try to like
as I said
pass the
before, if we
buck,
bought a
as they
DM,
say.
it wouldn't necessarily mean we'd never see Gravenberch in that position again. Because
Hmm.
obviously, we just haven't got enough choices in midfield. This season, we haven't been able to change enough. Like, we've had Endo on the bench and Jones, and that's it, basically.
Hmm.
And it just hasn't been enough. Like when we've needed to change games, like to win them or to get back in them, there's just nothing there on the bench in a midfield sense, to do the job because they're all already on the pitch. Do you know what I mean?
Hmm.
Um, not enough play. And then it's been compounded this season by midfielders having to play right back so often.
Hmm.
If it hasn't been Sobbo, it's been Curtis. Do you know what I mean? So
Hmm.
we need more midfielders. Like we need a bigger pool of midfielders. Got to keep up with the Joneses, and the Joneses are City and Arsenal.
Hmm. Um, Trudon is saying Gravenberg has done nothing to warrant this bumper new deal. To be honest, he's been poor this season. I think that this isn't necessarily a reflection of his performance this season. I think this is more of a performance of his, or no, this is more of a reflection, excuse me, of his age and of his season last season, and the potential that has emerged from that last season, especially under this coach, and the amount of progress he's made. I think. Heiler says he doesn't agree. You can see the level of Gravenberg last season, pretty much. Every player from last season has been worse this season. Only Dom can say he's better than this season. Um, yeah, it's just it's interesting, very interesting. I'm going to let me see if I can get this together for you because I think I have a um. Let me see if I can find this chart that I made. Let me see if I can find a chart. Um, Let me see if I can find this chart because I know some people might be asking some questions about what I have to say. Um, 1 second. Let me see if I can bring this. I'm gonna look for it. I'm gonna look for it because you do when you look at this comparison compared to others. I just think that it's great that we have. I mean, are you if you don't play Grav in the DM, where do you play him? Where do you
In the
play him?
8. In the 8,
Okay,
definitely, like, with the right DM,
absolutely
it's gotta be the right DM behind him to
right.
blend with him
Now
well.
you just said
Who can do the
perfect.
things he can't and allow him to
Right,
do the things he can well,
right.
easier, if you get me, and then we'll have weight, as well. So really, it's Macher that's the odd man out,
Mhm,
innit?
mhm,
I've got nothing against Macher, I like him, and I'd want us to keep him, but, like, he'd have competition for his place, or he'd be
mhm.
competition for the other guy, and for Gravenberch. Well, he'd be competition for Gravenberch in that case, wouldn't he? They'd be scrapping it out to play in the 8th.
But all things compared, um, I know this chart is a little jumbled up because I couldn't fit everything into it. So this is like let me show you this chart here. You just said play him in the 8. I have no problem with playing him in the 8. I think he played well in the 8 for us under Klopp. I think he played well. Again, I think the only reason holding him back was for his progression at in the 8 was that he was injured for a couple of the spells that he got chances because he scored here and there when playing in the 8, especially with the advanced role that our 8s had under Klopp. He was able to flourish. It's probably the reason why this coach has given him a little bit more leeway to do what he did as an 8. But we don't play with 8s. He's furious. Is he? Let me see what is K-Mac angry about. He's mad about what I have to say. That's cool. That's cool. I hope so. I hope that means that if I touch a nerve, that means I must be saying something right, something that's got the people working on it. Let me show you this little comparison here real quick before we move on, because I don't want to get too bogged down on this, but um, you can see where Gravenberch ranks in tackles. Right, he's about 2 tackles a game, 2.4 for Rodri, 2.8 for Rice, 3 for Tuchemeni. But then you look at progressive passes, he's right about mid-table too. Rodri has 8, Kimmich has 8.5. But then you look at Tuchemeni, you look at Declan Rice, he's right around the same. But then you look at the progressive carries. Gravenberch, with the ball at his feet, is one of the most dynamic DMs in the league. You could see here the dual wins. I'll make that a little bigger here. The dual wins, 58%, 62, 64, 63, 55. Those are for, let me make sure you see it. He's like right around the same amount of uh, dual wins, as other quote unquote DMs. But there's different types of DMs. I think he's a ball carrying number 6. Rodgers a deep playmaker. Rice is a ball winning 6/8. Tuchemani's a defensive anchor. He plays a little bit more of the defensive role minded player. Kimmich is a more of a deep distributor, maybe like a regista.
Yeah, I'm not actually sure myself who the guy would be. Who would be the perfect one to have at his side there in that 6 with Gravenberch ahead of him. I'm not sure who that
Mm.
guy is. Loads of people like Wharton, some people like Believer. Some people like other guys. I don't actually know who the best one is. I just hope the people who need to know what those things are do. Whoever's in charge, like of acquisitions, they know who'll be the best. Maybe Xabi Alonso, if he came in, he'd know who'd be the best to
Maybe.
put in that position.
Maybe he does something different with the scheme, and he brings a different format to the presence of the formation, at least. Maybe.
Savino's equalised day. Forgot about him. He hardly plays, does he, that guy? He come require a rep him, and he does look okay. But, when he first come and he played against us, he was quite tricky, and he had a few goals, like, I thought he looks all right, him. But he's been, like, you've hardly seen him since then. Forgot about him, mate. Never existed. Same with Liam Delap. When I seen he was lining up for Chelsea, it was like, I forgot that guy. I forgot he bought him.
Look, I just think that when it comes to Grav, I'm going to end here. Grav, progressive carries per 90. He's possibly one of the most. He's one of the leading midfielders in the league. High ball retention, under pressure, press resistant, as the kids like to say, right? 23 years old, entering the prime of his development years. I think this contract might look like a formality today, but I think it's more of a smart long-term move. I don't know if it's protecting his value because he plays. If it was something like it's a player that you're trying to move, but you're not intending on playing him, that's a different story. But we do, in all words for it, play Gravenberch. We don't hide Gravenberch on our bench. So it is going to be very interesting where and how we develop this play. We continue to develop this player because we don't play of eights. And if people have a problem with him being our six, then I don't know what to tell. I don't know what to tell you. That's my point. Like, where else do you like? You're not going to play him. I know he's played us for us at center half, but again, that was only a fill-in spot. It sounds like that's almost like the argument to say that Damas Abasalai should be our right back going forward.
Do you know what? I've only just noticed that Arne Slot with the hairdo there on Trudon's avatar. I didn't really look at it, and I've just been looking at it. It's hilarious, that, isn't it? Arnie with that hair. It's quality, that.
That is quality. That is quality. That'd be awesome if he got that done.
True attention to detail there, Trudon. True attention to detail.
It'd be spray painted on, but still all the same. It'd be awesome.
Yeah. Do another one with him with like a big blonde mullet, a bad blonde mullet, like one of those like German rock stars or something from the 80s. Them bands, Europe. Remember them with all them the bad mullets? Do Arnie with one of them? That'd look hilarious.
It is 1-1 as Trudon just updated. Newcastle has equalized in is 44th minute in that game. Chelsea has just won 4-2. They won 4-2 over Wrexham. 10-man Wrexham. Again, Westford Brentford has been postponed, and Arsenal 2-1 winners over Mansfield. It's interesting. I understand some people don't want to have that conversation, but I'm just speaking on realistic terms. I just think that when you try to have a conversation about Gravenberch, it gets into a sticky situation in the sense of a difficult conversation to have because a lot of people don't think he's a DM. And if he's not a DM, where else does he play in this team? He's not a 10. He's not a winger. He's not going to be a forward. He's not a center half. He's not going to play on your own as a fullback. There's only one position on this team for him to play as, and that's as a 6. So, and we just signed him to 2032. So that's another 6 years of Gravenberch possibly. Pretty impressive signature to get done and brought on to solidify our future. I'm excited about it, to be honest with you. I like Gravenberch. I think Gravenberch brings a different option to the DM, but I'd like to have a more defensive, capable DM in a sense, sure, that'd be fantastic. You could round out those skills, but I'm excited. Um, what about the 8? Says Dustin. We just spoke on that. We don't play with an 8 on this team unless we go back to a 4-3-3 or unless we go into something where we play maybe with like, I don't know, 2 10s, I guess, or something with a DM or something. We don't play with an 8.
For me, going into next season with Verts, like, is going to be more at the centre of the team and the way we play. The two
Exactly.
people behind him have got to be spot on. And I'm not sure that Gravenberch and McAllister is the right combination anymore. It was last season, but things have changed now.
Okay, understood. And I can concede with that because I would prefer to see actually McAllister be the backup to Vert in the 10, and then have Dom and Grav as my 6s, along with whoever we bring in as a rotation piece for those 2 players. That's at least my perspective.
We do need something in the summer, like, don't know if he's got anything planned, like, but we don't know if he's going to be here, do we? So it's all up in the air at the
It
moment.
is all up in the air.
I do feel we need to change it. We need something extra in midfield next season, to get the best out of Vert, like, as he continues to get better himself. It'll be his second season next season, want everything to be sweet behind him, and hopefully he'll be setting them up for Hugo and Isaac all season long, and netting himself. Looking forward to next season already. Can't wait for this one to finish.
Yeah,
Which is a
I
shame to
know.
say, like, but it's
It
been
is
a
a shame.
trial, hasn't
It
it?
is a shame. It is a shame. I'll tell you what I'm not waiting to finish, and that is watching the development of Rio with this team. I'll tell you, Rio and Ngumoha had the kind of performance that forces managers to have to think if they're going to hold pat with their decisions of starting the senior player in front of the youngster. At just 17 years old, I think that this young man has been electric. He's been exciting. Um, he's been fearless at times. According to SofaScore, which is a service I like to use, right? It 4 shots, 2 on target, 91% passing accuracy, and 1 key pass. He was Liverpool's most dangerous attacker for large parts of the match. But this creates a serious question. And this is a question that we're going to segue into. Basically, this segment is what we're going to segue into, because the player he's going to replace is Cody Gakpo. Now, I know Cody played in that game in a different role. And I have been vocal in saying that I think that those people that talk about Cody Gakpo as if he is useless or as if you know, he's not Liverpool level or any of those silly talks. And then you're getting even worse, calling him like, bad names and likes. I think you're not recognizing the fact that Cody Gakpo, with the complement at wing, like a Lucho, or maybe now a developing Rio, is a serviceable squad player as our left wing. And a player that brings versatility to possibly play as a striker or maybe somewhere else in the midfield, maybe. Because he's been putting in work, Gakpo, at defense. But yet, I understand Gakpo has struggled this year. He struggled. He looked uncomfortable. He looked sometimes slow in transition. He's looked sometimes unsure of his positioning. Making goal line clearances for the other team. But here's where I want to slow the conversation down a little bit and make sure that Lee's with me on this one. Okay, you with me, Lee? Okay, just making sure. I think that despite the fact that Rio deserves minutes, and I agree, deserves minutes. Some might even go as far as say he deserves to start, period. I'm going to say that I think both players deserve minutes in general, because you can't put that much on the shoulders of a 17-year-old in the Premier League. Rio has something special, and he has something that Liverpool need right now: directness, fearlessness, unpredictability, all those things I said earlier. But Liverpool sometimes look too structured in attack, and that's where Rio makes the difference. He breaks that structure. He is the chaos that we miss from Jota, or from, rest in peace, obviously, and or from Nunez, or from even Elliott at times. He's that wild card factor of chaos. Lucho especially. Okay. He runs at defenders. He changes the games. But why I say Gakpo should still start for now is, despite the eye test frustration, and I know people are frustrated by Cody and the predictability he brings, the numbers still support Gakpo as a starter. I know last season he had 18 goals, 8 assists, had 0.55 or 0.55 goal contributions per 90. You can check me on that last number. But even this season, despite inconsistent form, he's at 0.39 goal contributions per 90. He's getting off about 2.5 shots per game. And he's one of Liverpool's top 4. He's top 4 in Liverpool's forwards for expected goal involvement. He brings a little bit of tactical structure too, because he's a better defender than Rio does. He presses intelligently. He holds the width. He understands Slot's positional play. But Rio will learn. He will learn how to do what Slot has Gakpo doing a little bit more naturally. And that's normal. I think the right balance, and this is just me speaking, not Lee, because Lee could have a different opinion. I'm going to want to hear what his opinion is. But the right balance, I think, is a little bit of this and a little bit of that, in that Gakpo is the reliable system player. And for me, Rio is the chaos generator. Rio is the player that you can put in for the last 30 minutes of a game. Or maybe you could start the game off and give him 60 minutes and then bring in Cody to shore up that left wing role, so that we don't get bullied or defensively we can hold off players better with his presence on the pitch, with a strong, fresh Cody. I think Liverpool need both of these players. Right now, Gakpo should still be, I guess, the default starter. He's a senior player. It is what it is. But I'm not saying that Rio shouldn't be used more often. Rio should certainly get cup appearances. He should certainly be in the rotation. He should certainly be utilized as an impact substitute. And I don't mean in the last 5-10 minutes of a game. I mean as an early 65th minute type substitution to really change up the flow. I think that's the future. For right now, that could be our future. Now we will get other wingers, we'll get other players, other forwards, and our likes, and we're going to bring pace. We're going to bring similar chaos and pace that we see in Rio. But for now, Rio is the only the real card in our deck that holds that kind of characteristic. Do you think, Lee, that Rio has earned more starts?
Definitely, yeah. He's been showing it for a while now in the little flashes that he's out of action. Like, he's been able to come on and at least, make an effort. And he thought he got us on the front foot last night, like with him starting. He was the one who started us off, on attacking them and that, and the others followed suit. And
Hmm.
yeah, it went well for him last night. He won't start probably in Istanbul, like, but it would be interesting if he did. But to get any game time there would be very good for his development, you know what I mean? To play in a big away stadium like that, with all the noise there and that, like, it'd be a good one for him. But he'll probably be off the
Hmm.
bench if he plays.
I know I'm gonna get a lot of. I'm probably get clipped up, or I'm probably gonna, or maybe occasion, maybe a few people, a few of the other content creators that watch the show, or maybe catch this portion of the show, are going to probably have a strong reaction, or a viral style reaction to what I have to say about Cody and about Rio. But what is it that do you agree that Cody is a serviceable player for this team? Do you think that, or do you think that we need to move on from Cody?
Probably needs to move on, given this season's evidence, like, sad but true, you know. I think we probably need to move on both wings. We need new blood on both wings with pace. We
Hmm.
need pace. We're 2-1 paced as a side now. Like, there's no one like who can make those bursting runs with pace. We've got Frimpong now as the fastest, like, coming in from
Hmm.
supporting from right back or when he plays further forward. But we need more pace as a team. There just isn't enough now.
Um, so you're saying we should get rid of Cody and Salah, basically, or phase out Cody and Salah. I say get rid
Yeah,
of, but
yeah, and
phase
we've
out.
got Rio as well, who's developing nicely. So for the left, but yeah, I think we need new players either side for next season, along with
Hmm.
all the other stuff we need, which is quite a long shopping list, like, but it still needs doing. Nevertheless, we've got a
Hmm.
few positions need filling. I think in the summer for us to be winning the league again.
So do you think that last year was just a fluke for Cody?
No, and he was all right before that. He was all right under Klopp. Like, he did his bit under Klopp. It's just that things have changed. Everything's
Like what?
changed
Tell
this
me,
season,
explain,
isn't it?
elaborate. Yeah, elaborate what you mean by that. Elaborate what you mean.
Well, that was just a different side, aren't we, this season than what we were last season? And it's been him and Salah have been the two probably that have been the most glaringly obvious as not having great seasons, but the rest all alongside them. I mean, Hugo's done well on his debut season. Dom's plays
Mhm.
well, but everyone else has had a poor season. Max had a terrible season. A lot of it down to fitness. Gravenberch has had a crap season. The defence haven't been playing that good. Kirkhouse is playing good now, but it's just been a crap season, like, hasn't it?
Mhm.
All round.
Mhm. Mhm.
I'll easily forget this season once it's finished, to tell you that.
Yeah, you'll want to. We all want to, actually. Somewhat. I mean, depending. I mean, there's still some. There's still
Unless
the
we get a
the.
day out at Wembley, because we're in the quarterfinals of the FA Cup.
Yeah, then that's a different story, right? All of a sudden, things are looking a little bit brighter now,
Mm,
right? Little Jimmy Cliff, right?
mm, mm.
Um, I, I'm asking this question, and I'd love to hear what the chat has to say about this. I know we got some people in the chat that have some very formulated opinions on both Rio and certainly on Cody, who's been more of the conversation as of late. Um, because I think Cody has been easily the leading candidate for Scapegoat FC this season. I think Scapegoat FC. It was, there was a number of players that have been in the running for Scapegoat FC's Player of the Year, I guess. Um, but I think Cody currently leads that list in people that are frustrated or just don't believe that he is a fit for this team. And I do disagree. Um, I think Cody brings balance. I think he brings the ability to bring about some type of control to the left side. I know he doesn't have the ability to be as press resistant as other left wingers in the game, but I think he can be physical. I think he's certainly changed his game too. I don't know if you've noticed that or not with the eye test, because these are stats or that you probably wouldn't see or stats that aren't even really kept. And that is, if you do look at Cody's game, he has definitely changed up his approach. He's not Mr. O, just cut in and shoot, head down, shoot. He's been going to the byline quite a bit. I think if anything, I think one thing that might be maybe unbalancing his game is that he's overcompensating in trying to go to the byline now. He's overcompensating trying to do portions of his game that people call predictable. Are you agree, or are you with me on that, or no? Or you disagree?
Yeah, no, he does bring a certain amount to the squad, and in a better season, if we're playing better than that, it wouldn't be as bad. But it's really exposed his limitations, hasn't it, this season when we've been struggling. All he's ever doing is getting it and coming inside. It's just that refusal to go to the line and use his left foot. And immediately when Rio comes on instead, he will go to the line with his left foot. The defender doesn't know which way he's going to go. Different ball game with Cody. You know each and every time he's going to cut inside. That's the difference between the two of them in that position.
Yeah. Well, while the attack continues to evolve, I thought maybe I'd get a little bit of back and forth with the chat on this one because I thought maybe that the chat has some opinions on this, but I guess there's a much bigger question happening around the manager himself. I think is a bigger question maybe. Um, I agree. By the way, before I even move on, yeah, I agree with what Mark A is saying here. I think that's something why we haven't seen Rio. Some people might not recognize this or not, but our coach tends to have a preference in playing Cody and Kirkes together. And then when it comes to playing Rio, we tend to see Robbo as the left back choice. So if we see Rio on the left, we will see most likely Robbo anchoring that um, that left back position. Now that might be because they practice together in the sense of when they're going, inter squad type play or something, or maybe Robbo's, practicing training with him to give him, the tips and the likes of how to progress. But that's just the case. So that's a great point, Mark. Gakpo and Kirkes / Robertson is the issue. Yeah, I mean, when Kirkes and Gakpo in the beginning of the season, I agree. Kirkes and Gakpo did have issues. Kirkes was struggling at left back. Gakpo was, I wouldn't say struggling at left wing, but he was certainly not on the same page as Kirkes was. And then, you didn't have a real budding relationship between our left-sided players. However, Kirkes has certainly really, really fallen into his own lately, and I would go as far as to say that Kirkes and Gakpo are starting to make better decisions together in the on the pitch. But I wanted to talk about Arne Slot because I don't want to run out of time for our last segment. This isn't our last segment. One more segment after this. But I wanted to talk about Arne Slot for a second because Arne Slot says something interesting recently, and it really piqued my ears when I heard this. He said, "I am the same manager as last year. My teams usually score among the most goals." And he's right. Historically, Slot's teams have always been attack-heavy, high-scoring sides, except this season.
Mm.
We currently rank sixth in the table after spending 450 billion, 400 million, or it feels like billion, but 400 million, 450 million last summer pounds. And that's going to create pressure. We all know that Xabi Alonso is the name that's out there. Someone, Luis Enrique, possibly, if he does decide to move on from PSG to possibly join our club as the replacement for Arne Slot, who has soured a lot of people's opinions on him as our gaffer, despite being a Premier League winning coach in his first year. And Liverpool's owners reportedly see Alonso as the dream candidate if a change is made. But here's the truth: Slot might still control his own destiny. He could possibly control his own destiny. And that is actually the reality, the real reality of it. I'm going to read you the entire, let me see if I can read you the entire, let me read you the entire quote. Let me see if I can find it also for you. Um, he said, let me see. He said this, Lee. Now tell me what you feel about this, and tell me it is 2-1, by the way. City's now up. Let's see if this is the second half or the first half still. Second half, started second half. It is now 2-1 City over Newcastle. I wanted to read you this quote, and I wanted to hear what the chat, and I wanted to especially hear what you have to say about this league, because I read you the beginning of it. He says, "I'm the same manager as last season, and all the years I've been manager, my team scored every season among the most goals, except for this season." So maybe dive into the fact why that is. I understand if you're a Liverpool fan, you don't care at all how the other teams are doing and how they are playing. But we are not the only ones, says Arne Slot. I will admit this, like Arnie does make a concerted effort to not make you a fan of his press conferences, to say the least. You there, Lee? There? No? Oh, maybe not. I think Lee is off making a peanut butter sandwich.
No, I was just getting me cup of tea.
Oh,
Cup
okay.
of tea it is. So it's still 2-1 to City, is it, in that game?
Yes, it is. It is. Did you hear the quote? Did you hear the quote that I just read though?
No, I missed it because it was making me cup of tea.
Oh, okay. Let me see if I can find it for you. I'll read it. I'll try to read it quicker for you this time, but I'll read it again for you.
Sorry, I could hear you, but like not properly because it was making a cup of tea, like putting the old milk and sugar in.
Basically, he was asked a question about like what's going on for our team. He says, "I'm the same manager as last season, and all the years I've been a manager, my team scored every season among the most goals, except for the season." So maybe dive into the fact why that is. I understand if you're a Liverpool fan, you don't care at all how the other teams are doing and how they are playing, but we are not the only ones. It's a lot of like a lot of
Well,
shade being shifted
he
around
said a
here.
lot about the way other teams are playing. The low block, he's gone on about it ad
Yeah,
infinitum.
exactly. Yeah.
The set pieces, the throws, and all this, like, the corners, he's gone on a lot about that. And there is, he's not saying it for nothing, but it's not the whole reason.
Agreed.
We're struggling for our own reasons as well, like, and it's like that at the same time for us. So just contributed to it being a really tough season for us, particularly against teams lower than us, much lower than us.
I'll give you three scenarios then. Scenario one, Champions League qualification. First, finish top four. Let's say we don't not top five. We finish top four. Let's say, and we get knocked out of the FA Cup, or we fail at the FA Cup and we fail at Champions League. Does he keep his job? Do you give him a chance to go again? The second scenario, we get FA Cup win. We win silverware. Does this buy goodwill with the team? And is that good enough And obviously, the third choice is we do a epic 2005 S type season where we win the Champions League. Is that the only way that he secures going forward in the sense of guarantees? Because it'd be so difficult to have. It would be so difficult, despite the fact of all the things, all the PR snafus, all the misdirections of people um, souring or warming and souring to this coach. It would be very difficult to fire a coach who just won the Premier League and then follow that up with a Champions League win.
Mm.
For me personally, I mean, Slot has my support, and until he's not our gaffer, he'll always have my support.
Yeah, mine too. You know what I mean? I'm hoping for better things from him in what remains of
Yeah.
the season, that we can finally get our act together and show consistency for a longer period than what we've managed to do so far without them
Do you
falling back off.
do
Because
you
we've got
give
to now, actually, to achieve our aims this season, which is mainly re-qualification with the Champions League. We can't be dropping more points in the league. Like, we can't be having bad results. The losing that Wolves game was the last straw, really, in terms of room for manoeuvre, because the others aren't going to drop that many points. So we've got to get at it.
do you give Slot a second season or a third season, excuse me, regardless? Maybe not give him an extension because I mean that says a lot. We haven't given him an extension to his tenure. Um,
Mm,
do you give him at least? Do you not cut the ties in the summertime to give a coach a fresh start with a fresh, give fresh start with a real a makeshift because we have the World Cup this summer, but I mean like a makeshift, training session or excuse me, summer training session.
yeah.
Do you give him a third season? Like
Yeah.
what say do you give him a third season? And if that is the case, what would justify you doing so?
For me, nothing could justify giving him a third season now after what we've seen hitherto this season, up to this point, what we've seen. No, he can't do it, mate. He hasn't got the chops. And it wasn't like he's a fraud and last season, dead lucky. No, he earned it. But to a certain degree, it fell right for him. That City had the first drop off they've ever had because of Rodri and that, and a few other injuries. Arsenal couldn't last the pace, and it went well for him. But now he's been found out this season, like that he hasn't got the chops really to put us where we need to be. I think this season is the evidence. I know it's harsh and it's only like one season, and the first season was so good and so enjoyable. Our 20th league title, I'll forever love him for that. Like, it was brilliant, but I just don't see where he goes from here. That that yeah, I can't really justify giving him a third season after this,
Okay.
especially with the money he
Okay.
spends as well. Like, don't forget the money he spends. You know what I mean? They've spent
Yeah,
anything like
yeah,
that before. Like, I know we brought a lot of money in, but they spent an awful lot, mate. They were expecting results and they ain't had them.
yeah. I get what you're saying. I get what
So
you're
if
saying.
I was John Henry and Tom Werner and all the other what are they called, FSG bigwigs, yeah, I wouldn't be giving them a new contract. No, I wouldn't be letting them. Wouldn't be letting them do it.
All right. Well, let me say this. While the future of the manager is obviously something that's going to be a hot debate topic as we get closer to the end of the season, especially at the end of the season, depending on what we win and what we do with the rest of the season, how this team looks actually at the end of the season. Um, I'm gonna segue, excuse me, into one Liverpool legend that's reminded everyone why he's still here. I'm gonna bring this up for people. Shout out to the streets. This is one of his guys, or used to be, or is, or still is. I don't know. I don't know. The streets can be harsh sometimes. But Andy Robertson turns back the clock, is what we said yesterday. And I think this is where we're gonna do a little wax lyrical on I think, our vice captain, a player I think that has gotten a lot of the short end of the stick this season, when it comes to comparisons and when it comes to criticism and the likes. But goal, assist, total leadership on the pitch. 31 years old, with Milos Kerkez pushing him for minutes. Robbo showed exactly why he's still one of the most respected players in the squad, I think, personally. You saw how much they loved seeing Robbo score, by the way. 25-yard strike broke the deadlock yesterday or in our game against Wolves. And minutes later, obviously crossed. He had the cross that created Salah's goal, which was a virtual tap in, basically. Slot said this afterwards. He says he loves the club and he loves playing in front of these fans. I think Robbo even said it. Robbo showed why he's not only just humble, but why many of us love Robbo as a player. And that is, he said, most of my shots usually go over the bar. And they do. They sometimes do when it takes a shot. Robbo's not the most, um, Robbo's not exactly always the most reliable shooter on the pitch. But sometimes football gives you a reminder of who a player has been, a reminder of why supporters like ourselves fall in love with them in the first place, and a reminder that even in a squad evolving towards the future, which we are in many other positions other than just left back, obviously, but the old guard can still deliver moments that define matches, and that was Andy Robertson, or RoboCop, as I like to. I like that
Yeah,
nickname
it's a
that was
good
given
one,
to me.
innit?
Yeah,
Buzzed off that myself. I never thought of that one either. I was like, oh, right, okay.
yeah, I like
Oh.
that one.
It used to be a good
Uh,
game years ago for the Sega. It was called RoboCop versus Terminator. So,
mhm,
and that's
mhm.
what it was, basically. RoboCop versus Terminator. One of those levels games where there's other things to fight and all that crap. Like, great game, though. Great game.
I think this is like why I'm bringing this all up now, and I know it's just one game. People will be like, "Oh, pump the brakes," or "Oh, he's still this, he's still that." I just think this is about a player who has spent nearly a decade embodying the mentality of Liverpool football. Um, I think he reminded us exactly what that means yesterday. And some might be saying, "Oh, you're going way too romantic with this," but I honestly do think that for nearly 50 minutes, Wolves had played their cards to perfection, the way they wanted to. There was no real attempts that were saying, "Oh, guarantee goals" or this or that. They're playing a low block. They're compact lines. They're crowding the middle. We're delivering. We were dominating possession, but we struggled to create real penetration. And then the ball breaks loose. Robbo steps up and unleashes a 25-yard strike into the corner. Not a hopeful hit, a confident one. Kind of strike that comes from a player who wants to make a difference, wants to break the monotony of a game and uplift his teammates, take the responsibility and force the moment. And once the door opened, Liverpool walked right through it via RoboCop. It'd be one thing if that was just a one-off goal, and that's all he was involved in. He was decent defensively, and he also created the opportunity for Salah, another beleaguered player on this team, getting him a easy moment. I ask you, Lee, what about Robbo did you did you see in this game that made you happy that he was getting this moment to be involved the way he was?
Yeah, it was great, wasn't it, for him? It was a great all-round performance from him last night, and it does beg the question, does he deserve more time, like in the rest of the season, like
That
more
was my
start?
question. That was my next
Yeah.
question. Yep.
Well,
Yeah,
I
does he
mean, Kirk
deserve?
has been brilliant. I've been made up with Kirk as of late, but don't forget Robbo. Like he's still a great player, isn't he? That shot was marvelous. Like I mean, his shooting's abysmal. Like usually, 9 times out
Mhm,
of 10, makes
mhm,
it'll
mhm,
go anywhere near the goal. But that just
mhm,
went in like an arrow, didn't it? And you could see how much he got off it. Like it was enjoyable watching him celebrate. And enjoyable watching the reactions of his teammates. Like they were all made up for him, weren't they? Like,
mhm,
which I
mhm.
enjoyed. But it was good to see him. Like he's still a really good player, and he's been such a great lad around the club. He gets on with all the other players, good and that. Like he's good
Mhm.
professional, and he's always led by example on the pitch. He's vice captain now, but he always played that way, didn't he? He didn't need no actual title like vice or captain. He plays that way, like he gives it his all. Remember that thing where he rubbed was it Messi on the head when we played Barcelona? And we when we beat Barcelona 4-0.
Yeah, yeah,
When
yeah,
Messi was on the floor, he went over to him and ruffled his hair and went, ah.
yeah. That's what I mean. That's why it's like sometimes I
Yeah.
get it. I get it. We all want to be. We want the team to be. We don't want a team just all off of vibes. We get that. We understand
Mm.
that. We have to be a team that has players that are contributing, players that are making differences on the pitch and the likes. However, there are times when you are reminded that sometimes there are more components to putting together a team than just wow, it's 3-1 by the way. Man City just scored.
Yeah, I'm not surprised. I thought City would win that. I was, sort of interested to hear that Newcastle had gone ahead. I was pleased that they had.
Yeah,
But
I
I
was pleased that they
thought
had to.
City had won that one. City too good for them. Newcastle have struggled lately, mate. They ain't got that many results lately. They did manage to beat United, which was hilarious, like, and very well received in this house anyway. I'm so pleased that United lost the game there. Let's hope it continues next time they get into action.
I just think that like what I'm trying to also say is there are times when you've seen players that maybe they were on the cusp of being I wouldn't say past their prime, but the sell date, I guess. I don't know what you want to call it. That moment when maybe they aren't going to be able to compete at that level, at the normal level that you're used to seeing. However, you say that of Steven Gerrard, you can say that of Jordan Henderson, you can say that of Fabinho, you can say that of James Milner, maybe. However, those players play with heart, and sometimes that heart makes up the difference. And when conversations happen about the greatest fullbacks in Premier League history, I think that you have to put Andy Robertson in that discussion. Since arriving from Hull City in 2017, I think it was, right? Since arriving from Hull, he has won the Prem twice. He has won the Champions League. He's won an FA Cup. He's won a League Cup. He's won a Club World Cup. He's even won a UEFA Super Cup. And it wasn't as a bystander, active participant in all of those campaigns. But he's also an emotional engine behind one of the greatest eras in Liverpool's history. He is part of the spine of this team. And I just love to see when a player like that gets a moment to shine because it does remind us, it humbles a lot of us with our quick criticism of players of this and that, of these players, and how they're trash or they're this or they're that. I think it's a beautiful, it can become a beautiful moment for a lot of us when you can really take in the fact that that guy wears that badge for a reason and he wears it with pride. I know the future is going to have new names. I get that. Kirkez, Frimpong, you know, other players that are going to, Bradley, that are going to emerge into this fullback era for us. But the present, I think, still has room for warriors like RoboCop. People that have built the foundation that those fullbacks are trying to expand off of.
We were talking before, weren't we? Like, Robbo was 8 million and Trent was academy, our two fullbacks for all them years under Klopp. Cost us no more than £8 million for the pair. Yep. When you think of the money City went through in that period, specifically on left backs alone, it was just left back after left back, wasn't it? You know what I mean? This guy, that guy. So yeah, I mean, great, £8 million, mate. What a steal that was, like, for all we got out of him. There was no one better than him worldwide when he was at his peak, was there? Pound for pound as a left back, like defensively and offensively, there was no one better than him worldwide. I don't think when he was at his peak.
Look, the deeper message I think to me is that Robbo acknowledged I think he acknowledged something that every player, even the greats, even legends, even living legends, have to eventually face, and that is competition for your spot. Kirkes is the future, not disputing that at 1 second of the word. But Robbo still has plenty to give. And performances like the show that you saw yesterday are exactly why players like Robbo are important to have in this squad. I'll ask you, Lee, where does Robbo rank among Liverpool's greatest fullbacks?
The greatest. Right up there. We've had a few, going back from, say, like the Shankly era, through the Paisley era, then Kenny, then all the others like Rafa and Houllier. We've had a few good ones, but Robbo's right up there, mate. Right up there.
I'll tell you, it's right up there. It's JK joining us, definitely. These two guys held it down for us yesterday, or for the Red Bull call. Had cool. Scout Slee and Jay Kismet, right? Definitely holding it down. Team. Tag team back again, right? And we were just talking about, we were giving a little wax lyricals for Robbo.
It was good to see.
Yeah, it's great to see. I'll ask you the same question. Where does Robbo rank amongst Liverpool's greatest fullbacks?
He probably is. He could probably be the best one ever. Him, Kennedy. So for me, he's up there to be considered as one of the greatest. Yeah, 100%. What a guy, man.
Yeah. Definitely. I definitely, when it comes to left back, I think that there's he's certainly we've had a lot of really, really talented fullbacks be a part of this club, but
we've had a lot of crap left backs that were brilliant. And
I was gonna say more. I would say more right.
Came in. Yeah, Robbo was the first really good left back. We'd had half decent ones and that, but not like him for years. You know, we had Jose Enrique, we had Moreno, Ari Sissoko, a few others like that. Didn't we? None of them were that good. Some were better than others. Like Jose Enrique was okay for where we were at the time. At that time, we weren't a side at the top of the league, were we? But yeah, Robbo coming in was brilliant. Like, because we'd spent a few bob on Moreno, haven't we? And I was hopeful for him with that lovely left foot of his, but he just didn't have it for the Premier League. And so it was just brilliant when he came in. Like, it took him a couple of months, if I remember. Like, he didn't put him in straight away. And then when he did, that was just it. He never looked back. Once he went in, he never came out of the team. He rarely ever got rested either. He just played right through, didn't he, that Klopp era? Game after game, week after week, year after year. 100% performances, full-blooded, like,
Yep.
great stuff.
Yeah, it wasn't until like that freak, shoulder injury that he had like a really lengthy spell on the injury list. But other than that,
Yeah.
he's been
That shoulder injury was
incredibly.
bad, and some people questioned whether he could come back. I knew he could, like, I knew that the
Mhm.
people saying he couldn't were talking bollocks, like. Yeah, he's been a great player, mate. As we said again, like £8 million, what a steal.
Yeah.
One of the bargains of the century, that.
Other than that, I think he's been an exceptional player for us, and um, I could even push it to. I think he's been. I think that Robbo is top 5 um, greatest left backs in Premier League history too.
Oh, for sure.
I've heard people question me on that one. I've said that before, and people have like,
Yeah. Who else is there? Ashley Cole.
right?
Who else is there, bro? Realistically, Graham Lasso maybe for Chelsea them days. Yeah.
Point.
Man
Yeah, think
United.
about it.
Who can just Dennis Irwin for Man United maybe. Then you got Nigel Winterburn and these. Then you got them type of guys as well. Yeah, I think Robertson's probably the best ever, bro. Leighton Baines, I've got to mention him. Liverpool fan, and he had the most
He was brilliant, Baines, yeah. Gotta give full
Baines was
respect.
top.
Yeah,
I like Leighton Baines.
Yeah, he was like so long. He was so good, and for Everton, like you know what I mean. Much to my chagrin, in many a match, like he scored against us a few times, and his corners against us, mate. His corners were a nightmare. But yeah, great left back as well. And
I wish we took him. He's a Liverpool fan, man. Top player.
apparently he's a nice
So there you
lad
go. I
as
think
well.
Robertson probably is the best, bro. Bless up, Red Armchair. Hope you're cool, man. Martha as well. Yeah, but for me, Robertson, when you look at it on paper, the amount of money he cost and how great he was, probably the best ever signing in Premier League history. He's top 5 anyway, when you think about it. Because a lot of players cost big fees. And 8 million, what is 8 million, bro? Nothing.
Yeah. I think it's interesting that there's not. I mean, other than you say I think you can make an argument for him being the greatest, but simply because I mean, there's people overlook
of
the
all
fact that they
time,
think
like
they.
since the Shankly era, it's going to be hard with like Kennedy and all that, and but like apart from apart from Kennedy, you could have a shout to be number 2, probably like.
I mean, for all time for Liverpool, yes, different story. But
Mm.
I mean, I'm just talking about for the Premier League era for this portion of the
Oh, the Premier
conversation.
League era, yeah. I mean,
Yes.
who's been good for us? Carrer had a great season there for us in
Yeah, I would say
2001.
yes.
Milner had
Yep.
a great season for us there, and was it 15,
Sure.
16?
Great season. No, you said season. Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm talking about greatest Premier League left backs. I would think that you could make an argument for it. You can make a strong
when
argument.
the Premier League era started, who was soon as left back? Julian Dix, mate. Mate, he had the right name, Julian Dix.
I mean, like,
his career at Liverpool was a load of dick.
Okay. I was going to say Patrice Evra I think he's better than Patrice Evra, right?
Don't mention that name on this channel, please.
Okay, there you go. There you have it. I think he's better than another Red Devil. You said Irwin. I think he's better than him. I think he's better.
Yeah, Irwin's the top lad. You know what I mean?
Yeah, he's another one. He's right
footed.
He was one of Fergie's best signings. I liked watching him where he was good. He was dead quiet and everything as well. And he's dead quiet bloke. Even when he did talk, like it was like he was sort of embarrassed to speak. But he's a great player. He's just like a magnificent player for Fergie in that early Fergie
Oh, he
team.
was. I mean, but I think still think Graham Lasso. I think he said what? He said Leighton Baines, right? I think he's better than those guys.
Yeah, Leighton Baines, Graham Lasso. They're the great ones for me.
Yeah. I think you say Coleman, right? Didn't you say Coleman? You say Coleman?
I think Coleman's top as well, bro.
I think they asked Robbie Fowler recently. They said, who was the best left back in your era in the Premier League? And he said, Graham Lasso. He said, I thought Graham Lasso was fantastic. He was a wonderful player. I had such respect for him.
He's a good player. I just don't think that he's.
John Arne Rees is there. Steve Staunton.
John.
Steve Staunton was top. I reckon Steve Staunton was. Yeah, he was top notch.
Oh yeah. Do you know who Steve Staunton was best for though? Not for us. Sadly, we sold him too quick, and then he was bought for Villa. Remember him coming back and playing in the middle of the three? Oh, we were teared, and we did his best. But, yeah, we let him go, unfortunately.
No, Fabio Aurelio.
Who was the left back for Arsenal in like late 2010 or no, early 2010, like late 2000s?
That Eno fella, Sutton Eno, the Brazilian. Which one was he?
Left back Eno.
Yeah, left back Eno. Can't remember the rest of the first bit, but it ended in Eno.
Okay. I think who it was.
Window Clino. Yeah, I'm trying to think of the Arsenal left back that era, like Nigel Winterburn. Then who came after?
Yeah,
Ashley Cole. Like after a while.
Ashley Cole could be probably one of the best.
He had a few.
I get Winterburn, but I meant who was it like Gail
Clichy, yeah. And City pinched him, they nicked him, yeah. He was all right.
He played centre half, really. Oh, Clichy, yeah.
Yeah, he didn't really work out for City. He didn't cut the mustard really for City and a lot quite a bit because like the way they thieved them off Arsenal. I used to feel sorry for them. He still won. He still thieved off him that way, like because he was trying to compete, like, and then he'd lose his best player time and again. It's just a piss take for the man.
Didn't he win a Premier League title though with them? Clichy?
Gail Platt.
Yeah. Clichy, I'm not. No. Clichy didn't. No. He came after Spurs last won a title.
No, for City. I meant for City.
Yeah, I think he did, bro. I think he did.
I think he won one with them when he played for City.
Gail Platt, top player. Did you hear about him, bro? Gail Platt. Lee knows him. Gail Platt, remember Lee?
He's probably getting his
played for Manchester United, was it? Yeah, United. One of the Manchester teams.
Traore saying.
Mate, Javier Manquillo was crap. He was another buff we got from Spain.
Yeah, he weren't great, no.
No. Yeah.
I think Gail Platt was David Baxter's. No, he was all right, but he weren't special.
Nice. We'll see that.
But
I'm still into the idea that if we do get Luis Enrique as boss, he has to hire Jose Enrique as his number 2. It just has to be done, mate. We have to have the 2 Enriques. If we're going to have one, we have to have both.
Okay.
Enrique.
Yeah, Enrique, like the 2 Ronnies, that also 2 fellas called Ronnie, 2 Enriques.
I just think why I was bringing up the thing about Robbo is that people sometimes forget that Robbo led in assists for a good number of those years. He was the top assist. He had the record for the most assists, or he was the top assist getter and in a fullback position. I know eventually Trent caught him in that endeavor, but some people don't give him the credit of like when Trent Alexander-Arnold became this top assist getter in as a fullback, he passed Robbo. In that.
There you go. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and who knows? I think I'd have to double check, but I mean, there's an argument that maybe Robbo hasn't played that much, and obviously that assist came in the FA Cup game. But um,
How many is he behind? Do you know?
that's a good question. That's a
Because
very good question.
because like for me, if he can
He's
carry
still
on
playing.
doing what he did, he's still playing, and that's what I need him to do in the Premier League now. Them type of crosses.
Hmm hmm Those are the type of crosses that we need, to be honest with you, for this team. It's what we've been lacking, I think. Exactly what we've been lacking.
For sure, bro. Because a left-footed guy crossing from the left side is the best cross you can get, and a right-footed guy on the right side crossing it in is the best cross. That's why I love Trent, because his crossing ability, bro, inside of the foot. You just need to put a little hit of your head on there, and it's going in. That's why I like them type of crosses. You know.
Mm-hmm.
But it was old school. Him and Salah yesterday, old school, man. Top. I'm playing Robertson on Tuesday. I'm starting him, yeah.
So, as of mid 2025, Robbo was trailing Trent. He's got 60 plus assists, and Arnold has 64 plus assists. So
Okay, Premier League, yeah?
Yes, Premier League. So Robertson's at second all time Premier League defenders for assists.
Come on, Robbo. I hope he gets game time and gets assists now. That'd be top. I seen
It'll be tough.
Real Madrid the other day. They played and won 2-1 last second. Valverde got the winner.
Mm-hmm.
But Trent got roasted on that goal. Their sort of ego got in. And Thiago Aspas, bro, what's his name? Aspas. Bro, he could have won it as well. He's doing all right, Aspas still. It was mad seeing him. Still playing for Celta Vigo.
Actually, you know what? Trent has the most career assists by a fullback in the Premier League with 62 assists. So if he's got 60,
remember when him and Robbo were always like battling for the most goals and assists combined, and they were like keeping up with each other numbers wise for years. But then Trent got in front when Robbo had to start playing defense.
Yeah, he could still get it. He could still become the most. He could still become the most assist awarding fullback in Premier League history. And originally, Robbo broke the all-time Premier League record for a defender with his 54th assist in December of 2022. That's pretty good. Pretty good. I just like talking about Robbo, because Robbo's he is certainly a enjoyable character to have on the team, I think. To say the least, he's a very enjoyable player. What is on your minds, guys? Did you want to talk about anything quickly before we wrap up this show? I think we only have
Tuesday in at the Gala game. And I think it's an early kickoff, which gives us a good rest until Sunday for Spurs. That's the good thing about what's upcoming. The Gala game is an early kickoff on a Tuesday, and then we get 4 days until 4 on Wednesday. So, like, we get a full 4 days rest.
Yeah, barring extra time, there's only 80. This is the 87th minute. There's barring extra time. There's only at least 3 minutes left in that Newcastle game. Against
Manchester. Spurs playing their Champions League game same night as us, or are they playing the next night?
Yeah, same day as us, bro.
Okay, fair enough. Yeah.
Atletico Madrid, but Van der Ven's be missing in that game.
Yeah,
he got a red card, so that's cool. So I don't know who's going to be in their defense.
Good, he deserves it. The moron for what he did. I know what you did last summer. Well, it wasn't summer, was it? It was only...
Okay.
Only done that. The prick. Sorry.
I'm
Pardon
gonna
my
ask you
French.
this. Can I ask you this question real quick for rebounds? Got like we can say like another 5 minutes or so because I want to. We'll wait until the end of this Newcastle City game. But um, I was gonna ask you, do you think we should prioritize youth development over these big name signings that we keep going after and kind of maybe even stunting the pathway for some of these players? Because considering Trent Leone got into the game, looked talented enough to be able to be a promising prospect, if not promising player for us in the future. We've all been talking pretty much at length, maybe to some nauseum to some, about Rio and his ability of being a top prospect or even a star in the making. Um, would you like to see us develop these players more, or is it just, hey, just keep bringing in the big names. Don't worry about developing young talent. What is it for? Either of you can answer.
Yeah, like for me, bro, when you've seen with Klopp, who was a ambassador of bringing youth players through, he brought in Trent, he brought in Conor Bradley, and I think he's only going to bring them through if they're good enough. He brought in Kwanzaa, so we could bring youth players in all the time if we want to, no problem. But bro, are they going to be good enough? That's the question. So we're looking at Rio and Trey now. For me, both of them top players. I like the way Trey plays. Trey yesterday, his passing ability, top class. He uses his brain when he plays. And they're only 17, 18, bro. So I got no worry about game time. Rio in the last month, 2 months, has gotten more game time than he has all season. So even Slot sort of seeing that it needs they need a bit of game time now, you know what I mean? And he didn't let the team down yesterday. He was a constant threat. Run their fullbacks ragged. I always say when a player's good enough, through the youth system, they'll get game time. And you need, like, we never spend big, bro. It was only the summer just went. That was the first time we spent big. You know what I mean? So if the youth players are good enough, of course, it will save you money. That's one thing. And a homegrown talent as well. So the club should be looking at bringing youth players through. Rio is a top player, so he's the main guy now. It was Kwanzaa and Bradley a little while back, and for me, both top players. So if you're good enough, bro, you'll get through.
That's the point, though, is that why I'm bringing this up right now is because, like, here we are in a place where there's been word or rumors that we're going to go back after Kwanzaa and bring him back to the team. End up spending, in essence, 35 million euros or pounds, I believe, to bring him back over what we received from him. So in a sense, we pay 70 million for him, and considering that we got 35 million. So in essence, we're paying a $35 million loan fee, basically, is what we're paying in essence. We've been talking about Trey Leone as a player that hasn't really been getting that much playing time at all. He's a player that I have seen rumors being spoken that he was frustrated and possibly considering moving on or asking to move on from the team, considering his pathway didn't look like he had one.
Who?
And Trey Leone.
That brother needs to take a chill pill. He's acting
Well,
like he's 23 or 4. You know what I mean? Come on, bro. You're 17. You look like you're half the size of a man. Like, chill, brother. You know what I mean? I hate this. Like, youth players trying to give it large. Great then, fuck off. Sorry for my English,
I
but
mean,
come on.
yeah.
Don't
To
like
to
that
his
attitude.
defense, to his defense, JK, he was a player that was, I wouldn't say heavily utilized by Klopp, but he did get playing minutes, and he did look, and he was before Rio, he was probably the most coveted player on our team as having a real future with this team. Maybe Pachetic, you can say that too, but Pachetic ended up getting injured. No, the
I
only not the
was
case.
so disappointed for Bajcetic. I had so much faith that he could go on and be a good player. And it was great that, like, you know, when he was just coming in and developing, like, he had a little, like, bit of a relationship with Thiago, you know, with them both being Spanish. And Thiago was saying, you know, he's a good young player and that. But the injuries, I mean, we've had it with lots of players, you know, Ramsey's another one. But it was very disappointing, like, the Bajcetic thing, because he looked like he had what it took when he played under Klopp. Didn't just play the 6, played the 8 sometimes, like, with the 6, like, he showed he could play good in both roles. And, you know, he could get forward, and he was dead comfortable on the ball, wasn't he?
Mm-hmm.
Hi there, Pops.
Yeah, $35 million, £35 million
development fee. Simple as.
That's a pretty healthy price tag.
Mm-hmm. I bet they wish they sent him on loan there instead.
Yeah, and I don't see why they couldn't have.
That's what I don't understand. I'm like, why didn't you just loan him out with an option to buy?
Yeah.
Then with a better fee than the 35 they paid.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I think that despite them having that buyback clause in there, I think that was I'm gonna say last case scenario. Maybe it was just more of like an insurance policy, basically, that if he really did get his head together and get his act on the pitch and off together, then he could maybe he could make a return. I guess it's worth £35 million. But I don't know. I'm asking these questions because I think that, you know, we're talking about some of the best ways to create sustainable and actually positive growth for your team is to develop your youth academy, I should say. We sold a lot of I'm not saying that all those players would have been Liverpool players. I'm not saying that all those players were even Liverpool quality, quote unquote, that we ended up selling. But we have definitely, out of all the youth academy players, we only have what? Curtis Jones and now Rio and Trey, basically, connected with this team. Right? Or am I wrong?
Yeah, but when you look at it, bro, look at the other big teams, Arsenal and United, for example. Who have they brought through youth-wise over the last years? No one.
No.
Really?
That score just went finals 3-1. City has progressed on in the FA Cup to the quarterfinals.
Well, at least you got a
I would say.
I was going to say the season. I think they'll probably get. But I don't know. They might not. I don't know what will happen in that one. Or I reckon Arsenal in the title. Like, but City, they could still, you know.
City.
What else?
City, you got West Ham next week.
Away, is it?
Who, City?
Yeah, I'm not away to West Ham, are they?
Yeah, away to West Ham, yeah.
Okay, that gives Nuno more of a chance in London, I think. Good luck, Nuno.
Good luck.
I'm like a red armchair as well. I can't really see us going back for Kwanzaa. A little bit embarrassing in a weird sort of way.
He's making currently, Kwanzaa is making 72.5 thousand base per week, and he's making a 18,000 euros bonus on top of that. So he makes 90,000 pounds per week currently.
That's sound for the Bundesliga.
Right, he is currently on a 5-year deal, and it expires in 2030.
Yeah. Well, he's doing well. Like, and at the end of the day, we sold the lad. I mean, I'm sure he'd come back if we wanted him. At the end of the day, we sold him. This is his first season. Things are going well for them. They've got this Champions League coming up with Arsenal. And he's in the England squad, any like, you know what I mean? He's been regularly in the England squad and getting in the team.
Well, that's also why it would help to bring back Kwanzaa, is because we do have an issue with the number of homegrown players we have on this team. I think we are. I'd have to look at what the number is, but I don't think we are with Elliott leaving and with Kwanzaa leaving. Those are like players that were on our books.
Centre backs out there. There aren't loads. I mean, Schlotterbeck, Diamande still at Sporting, isn't it? And then you've got people like Ordonez and a couple of others. But there'll be others that, like, I'm sure we're scouting. We must be looking because we're in dire need. You know what I mean? We've been playing for months now with a lot of the time just two centre backs and not even anyone as a backup. Like having as well as Endo playing centre back because of that. So we can't go on like this, you know what I mean? And that's whatever, man.
Yeah, we have 7. I think it's 7 homegrown players.
We were all right for a while. We had plenty, but like Harvey's gone, Trent's gone.
Harvey's gone.
Yep.
Kwanzaa's gone. And I think like it's either Rio or maybe Trey or one of those players, they don't qualify for homegrown.
I was amazed off the Frimpong qualified as homegrown because he was at City in his development. That was a tough start to get a player like it, and they'd be able to have him homegrown as well. Like, just pleased with that. Robbo was class. Robbo is classed as a foreigner and he playing for Scotland. Like, that doesn't now it doesn't apply to the Welsh because the Welsh play in the English league. So like you can be Welsh, but you can't be Scottish.
Yeah. You know, we had 6 or 7 homegrown players.
Yes, armchair. I would take Senesi in the summer. I think he's free, isn't he? Yeah, we'll rob him off Bournemouth, like, because like that's what people do. Everyone takes their players, so we'll take him. Yeah, gives us one less to find. Worth a try, isn't he? He'd be worth a try to see what he could do for us. He's looked good for them sometimes. I mean, Zabani and Heisen, like, long gone, but he's still there, isn't he?
Yeah, United have Kobe, but he isn't great.
That's what I was trying to say. They have Manu.
Yeah, he's not great. He's all right.
I remember who Arsenal's left back was. It was Savinio. His name was Savinio, like the City fella now.
Yeah, the Brazilian lad,
Yeah, he was good, him. Yeah.
I thought O'Reilly was on his way out or something. I thought they were like going to move O'Reilly.
Yeah.
Maybe not.
O'Reilly's good. Good little guy.
Yeah. He's played well.
The World Cup, left back.
Yeah, I mean he's not necessarily a left back, but I mean he's been put there by Pep.
I've hardly seen him. I haven't watched them much. Like, I don't care to unless we're playing them. But like, he does look good. That kid looks like he's got.
He ain't no Andy Robertson though.
Yeah, there you go. You go. Simple as. He's not this guy right here. There you go.
Golden assist, man.
Yep. Maybe Pops can relay this episode to his brethren on his channel. Maybe to get the streets to hear the praise of Robbo. Maybe convince him to sing the praises of Robbo one more time. Is there anything else you guys have on your minds, though? If you guys spoken about youth development, I know
I'm
we
glad I
spoke about.
remembered Savino's name. All I could remember was Eno before that it ended in Eno and that he was Brazilian. But I remembered it was Savino, yes. Yeah, he was quite a good left back. He has a few, didn't he? There's a few others that don't immediately spring to mind, but Arsenal have many. Like under Wenger. Few French ones come in as well. Obviously, Clichy was French, wasn't he? Like, but a few other French ones as well come in over the years.
I can't think of any. I can't think of that many left backs that.
He's got a job now, and he Wenger, like for whoever they are, the football bigwigs, and he talks a lot of bollocks now, doesn't he? Like I was watching some video of him going on what he'd like and what he wouldn't like. I mean. But, he's getting paid an enormous amount of money to say these things. I used to really like him. I always liked him because they were a rival to United, like, and could take stuff off them. And I never had any hatred of them growing up, and that was their Arsenal. It's no big deal. So I like Wenger, and I like watching his teams because they were good to watch. TV era, Perez, Lundberg, et al., and then the strikers.
There you go.
Very good. I felt sorry for Wenger, though, where he had to sell his best players, because Mourinho and Fergie never had to do that. He always had to do that.
Yeah, excuse me. Wenger was incredible, though, when it came to.
Remember the spat with Mourinho? Mourinho was just saying, like, you're just jealous because, like, my team wins stuff and yours doesn't. But, like, Arsene has a point. Arsene had a point about the money and that, like, because he moaned about it a few times, didn't he? Like, what other teams were able to spend.
In them days, because Chelsea was spending, Arsenal not really, so they had that little beef, and they're London teams, aren't they? So
yeah, I know it really dumb Wenger said him when they had to lose Van Persie to United of all clubs.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
Arsenal always sold their best players, bro, to Manchester. It was weird.
Selling Ashley Cole to Chelsea as well, man. That must have done Arsenal better, because he was the business mate when he emerged. He was like the left back, and Chelsea just went, oh, we left that. Chelsea spent big on left backs. They bought so many, but they bought loads of good ones. Like, obviously, if you've got that much money, you're going to find good ones. Ditto with right back. Just the money they were able to spend years ago, like year upon year, though, it was jaw dropping. It was dispiriting, like, as a Liverpool fan, hoping to keep up with them and that, like, under Rafa. But, Rafa had the same thing as Wenger, like, you know what I mean? He just didn't have enough money to compete properly, like, to go all the way against Fergie and Mourinho. Them two just had more money.
Yeah, we've changed that way a little bit. Like, we were the biggest spenders last summer. But that was the first time ever in the FSG that we've won that season when we got Swansea and all that in, yeah. But not to this level of fees, you know what I mean? So Liverpool are a traditional sort of club. I like that. But you got to spend money now and again, you know what I mean?
Wasn't it crazy this summer to see us spending money like that? Because we just don't and never have. That was just something entirely new. I know we got a lot of it back, but the outlay in one go was astonishing, wasn't it? Like, I was amazed when we got Verts. Like, it was like, yes. And then and we got Hugo, and then it was got Frimpong as well. It just went on and on. And then,
didn't stop, bro.
I just hope we get the right guys in the summer, because we can hopefully get back to where we were next season, as long as we get the right guys in the summer, make the right decision.
You got two players you can buy, bro. Who you buying? And why? Let's go three. That'll be like a transfer window. 3 players. Who would you get?
I do like Diamande. He'd be a definite, I think, to give us some more pace. That direct running the pace he's got. Really like Elise. If we were going to do both wings, and I could have anyone. But there's other positions, isn't there? I'm like more or equally as concerned about other positions, notably centre back. centre-backs, I mean, there isn't loads. If they have anyone, just take them off another club. Potentially, but off Arsenal. You have to give him to us because we said so. So we'll take him.
There's a lot of free centre backs running down their contracts this summer. The list is pretty big. What I'll do for the next show, I'll try to get the list for us to look at. Rudiger, Kanate.
Yeah, it's only when you look into it, isn't it? When you're trying to think in your head, like, oh, who is it? But then when you're like sitting on your own and you can look at stuff and you're like, oh yeah, that name, that that guy. There are players out there, aren't there? There'll be players we don't know, I'm sure, like who fit the bill that none of us have even thought of, probably. There always is. So, I mean, I didn't know much about Xhaka until not long before we signed him. Same with quite a lot of the other centre-backs we've been linked with. Like, you usually find out about them, like, late in the day. If they play for an obscure club, like, or something, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I'll tell you the truth. Him and the Italian lad. Actually, the Italian lad, I knew a little bit about him, heard about him. The French lad, not really.
That was him, Pop. Silvino, not Salvino, Silvino, yeah. I can see him in my mind's eye, what he looked like. Short fella with short hair, good left back. Yeah, he was good. I liked Gilberto Silva for Arsenal. He was brilliant, Gilberto Silva. He just looked dead good as well. Like, he was the business Gil Silva right into him. He didn't have like some boss players, Wenger. It was weird. It was good when Houllier first come, like, because I remember Wenger was saying it'll be weird looking into the opposite dugout and seeing another French guy, like, you know, we mate from blah, blah, blah. And I don't think they were that friendly or knew each other that well, but they did know each other, of course, like Houllier and Wenger. Houllier had been involved, but he'd just done that, winning the World Cup stuff, hadn't he? Like, he was in the background, sort of like, he weren't the manager, but he made a lot of the stuff happen for Amy Xhaka to win the World Cup.
We didn't mention, what's his name, Cancelo, who was at City. Remember him?
Yeah.
Barcelona. No one mentioned him. For me, one of the best halfbacks as well.
Yeah, he's very good. Very good. He could have the odd risk occasionally, but he was very good. He was the City about a few. That one City. It was Zabaleta. He was decent.
I remember him.
A while. I like South American defenders. We haven't had how many have we had? Centre back, not many. Quasez. I wear Pellegrini, but he was like Pellegrino, sorry, but he was dead old, wasn't he? Or his partnership with Ayala for Rafa when Rafa won the league with Valencia twice. That was a boss partnership. Roberto Ayala and Maurizio Pellegrini. He was dead old when he come here, wasn't he? Like, he was like, dead old. He was like 35 going on 36. The guy, like, and he only played a few games, didn't he?
Yeah.
Gilbert O'Sullivan. That's hilarious. There's a good film about Gilbert O'Sullivan. I was thinking Gilbert and Sullivan. Yeah, Gilbert O'Sullivan. Was he a great player, though, Gilberto Silva? Tremendous.
No. I was going to say that we're almost on 2.5 hours of time on the show. We're about 10 minutes away from that. So is there anything you guys wanted to, any other topics you wanted to bring up? I was going to bring up the
When's the FA Cup tomorrow? Monday, I suspect, is it? Probably be on Monday night or something, the FA Cup tomorrow.
Okay. I just saw that the touching segment that that Wata, Rabo, and Ali did, by the way, for it was something for the Wasabi Cloud. I think is one of our sponsors, but it was basically the Red Together effort, basically, which is heartwarming words that they utilize for International Women's Day. Actually, an ad they put together, and they made some beautiful messages out to their to like their daughters or to their mothers or to their to women in their life that have made a meaningful presence in it, because none of us would be here without our mothers, so we got to always remember that. um, so shout out to them for that. I'm trying to think of what else was on my mind, or something else that we'll have to see. What else? Oh, also there was a rumor being presented that um, there was a rumor that Jurgen Klopp is in consideration for Atletico Madrid's job. There is a rumor that Jurgen Klopp is being spoken to become to replace, as Simeone's in his last year of his deal, and that they're trying to approach Jurgen Klopp to be the next coach of Atletico Madrid, Atletico Madrid. And what's interesting about that is that they was trying to throw the angle about that Jurgen Klopp is interested in the opportunity, possibly because of the way that the article put it. It was something about like he likes the fact that the Atletico Madrid is it's not Real Madrid. It's a smaller club in the sense of that it's got there's more upside to try to be the savior of the club, or something like that. I don't know. It was something like they're basically saying that there's underdogs, basically, in another way of putting it. I don't believe that that's going to happen. I don't. Red Bull has already come out and said that Jurgen Klopp is very happy with his job, and that they're over the moon with his tenure at the position for them. What do you think about that? Do you think there's any truth in it? What do you got to say?
What was it? The truth about what? Sorry. You just read something
about Atletico Madrid. About Atletico Madrid wanting possibly being in conversation with Jurgen Klopp.
Oh, that's interesting. Yeah, that sounds more like his type of club compared to Real, where he'd like it more as like a bit of an underdog. And he could probably do the business for them. They've got enough resources, haven't they, for him? Just whether he wants to do it. Well, you know what I mean? For me, when I see him, he looks to be enjoying himself since he retired. Well, since he took his time off. Could be his retirement, we don't know. But he looks happy, and he says he's happy. I believe him when he says he's happy doing what he's doing. So, at this point now, I couldn't really see it. I think he'd want a couple more years as well. I would if I was him. He's had an intense schedule for years, put every last ounce of effort in. His management style, required every last drop of enthusiasm and energy and personality and charisma he could muster. So, to sit off for a while now, it's great for him. And I'm happy for him that it's all going well. Sounds like a good gig, being an ambassador in the way he is. Just turn up at things, have a talk to a few people, have a few people take selfies with you and that, go home. Good night.
Yeah, let's go home after that. Yeah, right.
Definitely. He gets paid a lot
Yeah,
of
I
money as
think
well, like, which I'm pleased.
Madrid sort of suits him, Atletico. If you're going to pick a team out
Those
of
done it,
Spain,
yeah, rather than,
yeah,
Real's a bit too much, I think, too full on. I laughed about what he
yeah,
said
but he
about
had too
Man
many.
United. He says he was asked for the Man United job before he comes to Liverpool, and he said it's too much like Disneyland. So it was just bollocks, essentially. He doesn't, that's what he said. It was like Disneyland. So not so
Yeah,
many
but for
words.
me, Madrid and Klopp, I wouldn't mind if he went there. I don't mind Atletico Madrid.
What do you reckon about
Yeah,
having Simeone then as our manager? I reckon it'd be fun. And like he knows how to
yeah,
set a
he's got
team up.
personality.
Yeah, I reckon it'd be a laugh. I wouldn't mind him if he could get us stuff and that and make us dead competitive. A buzz off him as our boss. He'd have a few bob as well. I'll make
Yeah,
the Beckham
Simeone.
thing.
Yeah,
Beckham thing. I hated him at the time, and he's got a hateable face, Simeone. He's got one of those faces that you just only a mother could love. But the Beckham thing was so funny. That Danish ref, like the way he was adamant, you know what I mean? Sol Campbell went scoring and we thought we'd won. And then like it was disallowed and they all had to run back. That was a crazy night's football.
I'll say this too. We were just talking about Jurgen Klopp, but we were just talking about Robbo as well. I'll ask you this question right here. Is this a yes or no? Just a yes or no answer. That's all I'm asking for. If you want to elaborate, you're more than welcome to. But yes or no? I saw this from the Anfield Watch. It was interesting. Yes or no?
Given last night's performance, yeah, there's more in the tank. Would he be happy to stay though? Like, because he has mentioned that he's been disappointed not to play more, but he's been very patient, hasn't he? And it paid off splendidly last night. It was a great performance. Yeah, there's more in the tank for him, like I think. Well, I think he might want to go somewhere else where he plays week in, or he plays more often, should we say. And maybe not week in, week out, but because, of his international career and he's still Scotland captain, like he's like a massive player for them. He might want to have more regular football. And, I couldn't argue with him, mate. You know what I mean? Not at all. I'd be disappointed, but couldn't argue with him.
Okay. JK, for you?
same as bro. Yesterday he turned back the clocks, bro. Yesterday was the first time I enjoyed us playing football. When you look at the Curtis Jones goal, bro, look at the passing from Szoboszlai, who started that move off, and how Gravenberch and Jones were passing to each other. So, and then you had the Robertson to Salah cross as well. So, Robinson brought that to the game yesterday, and as I said, I'll play him against Galatasaray. Keep Kirkus for the Spurs game. Then take your pick who you want to play in the second leg of that game of the Champions League. So that's how I'll play this one now. Robertson for me, bro. Utmost respect for him. He's got a personality, big personality. He's a big member of the dressing room. Never let us down. Was a little bit disappointed. He was disappointed he weren't starting games, of course. I've seen this interview he did for a golf charity event. I weren't really happy. But I think he was happy playing yesterday in the FA Cup. He's probably hoping he gets in for the team against Galatasaray now. I'll be happy if he played that game because of the atmosphere there. That's got nothing to do with Kirkus, who for me has come on leaps and bounds in the last few weeks, months, or whatever. But for me right now, time-wise, experience-wise, I'm playing Robertson. I'll give him another contract, no problem.
Okay. I saw that yes from Red Armchair Supporter. I saw that yes from Jimmy as well.
Oh, bless up, Jimmy.
Yeah, I think that at what now? He's 31 now, right?
Mm-hmm.
Do you give him a 2-year extension?
Spot on.
Okay. All right. No said. No said.
And congratulations to Gravenberch getting a new contract, 6 year longer, 6-year contract. So
Yep.
serious wedge as well, man. Fair play to him. I like Gravenberch. I watched the game again. He played pretty good against Wolves. And what he did with
that's right. You weren't here for the conversation early on. We had a conversation about Gravenberch, and we had a somewhat of a lengthy conversation about whether he's a DM. First and foremost, if he's a DM, and second, the conversation also rotated around the fact of where else would you play him in this current formation? Where else can you play him?
Look, bro, if we got an out and out DM, okay, like I don't know, Chukwemeni, for example, who's scoring goals recently. He's mad. If he was a sitting DM, you could play Gravenberch next to him with the worst in front. So he could be the second guy, like the May McAllister is now.
Say what you say again.
See the way McAllister is for Gravenberch this season. Second guy as a DM.
Mm-hmm.
If we got an out and out DM, which Norman will be proper happy about, you could play Gravenberch sitting next to him in big games away from home. That'd be sound for me. That's how he would play in that midfield, then, bro. But for me, I just want a DM who's a little bit more snappier. You know what I mean? I think Gravenberch needs to put a bit of weight on.
Okay.
He's a little bit on the thin side for me. Yeah, he needs to eat some Indian food and some.
Oh no, that's
dumplings.
on Robbo. Yeah, that's on Robbo. Pops is saying not for him. Robbo is his guy. It's time for him to move on to the next phase. Robbo can't chase these young wingers anymore. He wants more football, but the pace isn't there anymore. Okay.
Yeah, but I feel, Pops, that I'll blame that more on Slot than, say, Robertson. We're used to Robertson, the full steam ahead train. And then Slot comes in, he told him, hold your horses, don't cross the halfway line, and there's no need to overlap the winger. Back in the days, Robertson was a free ticket. He could do what the hell he wanted, and he did it, and look what we got. As soon as Slot came in, pulled, just took the foot off the pedal. Robertson didn't know if he was coming or going, bro. He couldn't find his feet, and it was weird to see. Same as Salah this season, bro. Okay, that's the instructions from the manager. Look at Robertson against Wolves yesterday. He didn't give a damn. He was like, I ain't played in ages. I'm playing my old school way. And look what he brought to the table. He was sound for me. Can't mess with that. Thing is, if he went to Tottenham to get more game time, bro, he could be playing bloody Wolves next season in the Championship.
Yeah, agreed. I just think that there's no I guess the major conversation piece for what we had was the fact that on this team, if you don't think Gravenberch is a 6, okay? I think he is a 6. I just think he's a hybrid 6. I think he's just a I think he's a 6 just as much as.
Yeah, he's quite unique.
Yeah.
In that, we were talking before, weren't we, about who'd be perfect to partner him? I'm not sure who that man is. Lots of people have got ideas.
Right.
I haven't got a name in that respect, like that I want brought in, but I'm hoping that whoever knows does have a clue.
No, and I know. We get that. We're not saying that,
with Wirtz having his second season next season, He's getting better and better as he's going along now. We want to have it right behind him, don't we? The two fellas right behind him. And I have lost faith to a certain degree that Gravenberch alone is the answer there. Something else has to be brought. Neither of them have to leave or nothing. Like, just one won't be playing, and I suspect it'd be Mac more often than not that lost those.
I just trying to get just this. I guess the point I was trying to emphasize more so than not is that you might not think he's a 6. That's up for debate. I think he is. But even if you go beyond that, if he is just an 8, or if he can only play the 8 progressively in your mind, the unfortunate thing about that is we don't play with 8s in this lineup, and he's not a 10. We want to definitely work away with the additional Florian Wirtz. You can't play. You're not going to be playing him in the role of a winger or a 10 or right back, center back, left back. Those aren't the positions you're going to preferably want to see Gravenberch. And in that pivot is where you're most likely going to end up seeing him. So you might not think he's a DM. He might not be your ideal DM. You might even be a destroyer, which is what a lot of people keep emphasizing what they want in that role. Fantastic. Go out, find a destroyer to sit in that pivot with Gravenberch. Then, if you want to replace Maka, if you want to replace Maka, I don't know what that is. Oprah Winfrey, who did you say?
Plays in Holland.
What's that?
Plays in Holland. Oprah Winfrey sounds like some Dutch footballer.
Oh, okay. Oprah. I think you said Oprah Winfrey. That sounds like Oprah Winfrey. Okay. Yeah.
She'll be girl. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
She'll look it down.
Right. But all I was emphasizing again is that if you were to have a player that you can put into that role, fantastic. But I think that if that player was so essential, then we would have seen Endo get more minutes this year. I just think that we would have seen Endo get more minutes. And he could have locked down. He could have been that anchor DM. He could have been the defensive, counterweight to Grav going forward, which is what Gravenberch has had Gravenberch has had the freedom of doing more so than anything this season, which is go forward and be involved in the offense. And if that's the case, then you would have probably seen that, but you don't. And I don't think that this coach. I just don't think this coach thinks that a DM like that is necessary or dire or needed.
Yeah. I don't know. Because when you look at Gravenberch, bro, there's not many players like him.
Mm-hmm.
And I can't really put a nail on it, what type of player he is. He's very good in tight spaces, like I've said before. He wants to improve his game from last season. Like last season, he played his game, so he's thinking, "This is what can I do to advance my game and be better?" And he's thinking getting goals and assists, and which he's done actually. He's got a couple of goals and assists this season, so fair play to him in that way. But in the same time, bro, we had games where there's been a big hole in front of Van Dijk and Kanate. Why? There's no one there. Happened yesterday with the 3-1 goal. Realistically, Szoboszlai should have done something better there. But there was no one, there was a big hole there, and that's what we've got to watch out now. That we don't concede goals like that. Like they got 2 goals we scored, let in the other day against Wolves. The first one was a bit similar to the one they got yesterday. You understand my point, bro? That type of goal. And normally the DM should be around there who just cleans that up. You know what I mean? So, look, the manager should know what the team needs. And if he thinks, Gravenberch's fair play to you, you're getting more goals and assists. But your first priority is hold it. And I just feel Gravenberch wants more in his game. Hence why, because he's not a natural DM, bro. A natural DM this season wouldn't be going up like Gravenberch has, a natural DM, bro, because he knows his job. You know what I mean?
But
Gravenberch
isn't
isn't a
that
natural
more?
DM.
Isn't
Mhm.
that more? I mean, like I get what you're saying, and I don't I don't disagree that a DM isn't going to probably venture as far forward. Rodri does on occasion, but but I understand that he's not going to venture as far forward as Grab does on more so than not. But at the very same time, that's by instruction, though. That is something that
Mhm.
the coach is exploring with Gravenberch being able to do it. It's not like if Gravenberch was venturing too far forward or he's going too far into the attack, then obviously our coach would have a conversation with them or make a necessary change. But he doesn't or hasn't.
Hmm.
So I get your criticism of it, but I'm just saying, like, is it really um is it really it's not really Gravenberch's fault that this role of the DM is being played out the way it is, I think, despite the fact that people want him to, be, or you want him to be, to not go as far forward or maybe, shade
No, I
back.
don't mind. I don't mind. Like what he did with Jones yesterday, bro. I loved it. I watched it a few times where they're passing to each other and that. I was like, oh man. So if Gravenberch is going to go up the field, I want him to be involved more then, not just hanging around up top. Be involved when he goes forward. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And I want him to improve anyway. His game, like at the end of the day, it's his game. Last season, you realised he was sitting and it winning us the
Mm-hmm.
league. This season, he wants to do more. So what do you do, bro? I'll just go back to Fabinho and Mascherano. When you have them type of guys as DMs, everything's a bit more tighter. But Gravenberch is not consistently tight. Some games, yeah, solid, bang. Even yesterday, we were solid all game, bro. Bar that silly goal we let in. So that's the thing with the Gravenberch. But for me, bro, I'm happy he signed a contract. He's a young lad still, and he's improved his game this season in certain ways, I would say.
Okay. So that's last mistake. I don't know what that's about.
Look, since he's been at Liverpool, I've seen in the video he's had a kid and he's winning a Premier League title, bro. So life's good for him, man.
Who's Spotlight?
No, Gravenberch.
Oh, Gravenberch. Yes. Okay.
Even Sabotala, actually, he's had a kid. Has he had a kid? Yeah. So there you go. Come to Liverpool, had children, and won a Premier League title for the first 3 years of being here. It's not bad.
It's not bad. Not bad.
It's not bad. Gravenberch is happy at Liverpool, bro. You can just see it in his aura, and that's what the players who come to Liverpool, they love it here. Van Dijk would never stay this long if he weren't happy in Liverpool. No way. Salah definitely wouldn't. This guy's he can go anywhere. Years ago, I'm talking 3-4 years ago, when Mane was going, he could have said, you know what, I'm off as well. Could have done it, but he stayed. I'm happy he got 2 goals in 2 now. Even though his gameplay isn't the best it's been. No. But for me, he's put 2 goals in the back of the net and he never scored for ages. So hopefully that's a good sign to come. Robertson as well. Good to see him do what he did. And Curtis as well. Forgot to mention him before we go. Top goal. Top goal is 3rd goal. Real good. So good to see these little things happening yesterday. Was Salah, Curtis and Robertson scoring. It was good to see all them 3 scoring. Now Wrexham nearly beat Chelsea.
They did.
They gave him a good game.
They gave him a good fight. They obviously fell short in the end, but they gave him a good
Red
fight.
card, bro. Ruined it.
Yeah, the red card really put a dampener on their chances. They
Same
even
as
had a
with
chance.
Coventry.
They even the offside basically too. Looked like they had
Even Coventry, they were winning 1-0. they got a red card first half. Then it had you right ends up getting another goal, so it was 2-0. And then into the second half, the other team got a red card as well. So they should be going to the Premier League, man.
Yeah. Lee, you still with us?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
He's thinking about Istanbul, bro.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, yeah.
Sure.
The glory of Istanbul. Yeah, I'd like to visit, but only if I had a guide who lived there and who was from the city who could show me around the good bits, the old bits and that, like, that have been there for, like, thousands of years and shit. I'd like to have a nose around and all that stuff, like.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I've been there. It's nice. Not there.
It's nice. Yeah.
Istanbul.
I've
Turkey's
been to
top place.
Yeah, I've been to Istanbul too. All right. Well, anything else you guys want to talk about real quick before we bounce? I spoke about so many different subjects.
Spurs are in poor form, aren't they? We need these points, mate, after losing to Wolves. We can't afford to be losing more points now after losing that league game. Yes, we've put it right by knocking them out the cup, but we have to have those points. I mean, we do have a good home record against Spurs, but you can't take anything for granted this season. You just cannot. And Spurs have enough good players to hurt us if we're not on it. But hopefully we will be on it, and hopefully the result in Istanbul will give us a bit more heart, because it'll be the right one, either a good draw or even a victory, so we haven't got as much to do in the second, like.
No, we can't allow for Spurs to be our Wolves, basically,
And we will be coming up against our former target and sure thing, Victor Osimhen. We'll be coming up against that guy, won't we? Like, you know what I mean?
He's cup died, bro.
To see what we could have had.
Bro,
I'm
he's
gonna
cup
have
died.
to.
You can't play against his team, any.
Yeah, there you go. I'll have to see what it was that K-Mac was upset or was going at length apparently about something that I said or something was said on his channel. I'll have to see what it was all about. We'll have to take a look. We do watch K-Mac.
I don't live very far from Anfield as the crow flies, like, and I hear nothing as far as transfer whispers go, you know what I mean? It's like, you just don't until the club acts. Like, nobody knows nothing until we bought a player. Liverpool have always done it like that. Very rarely have we ever known beforehand we were going to get a player.
So what's the lie, bro? No one said he's coming to us. Not one person. He worked was the classic one as well. No one said, "Oh, we're afterwards." Bang, we're afterwards. Come on, man. You can guess. Like, football speculation is a guessing game, and I'm not guessing nothing.
It's a really strange time at the moment, because we just don't know who's going to be in charge in the summer. I mean, if Arne stays, of course, I'll give him my full support and hope that this bad season sort of like energized him, in the way that, like, can't be having that again. We must improve. Really, I have lost faith in him being able to do it. But he could prove me wrong still. Do you know what I mean? He's the man in football. We just watch it, like, don't we?
Look, at the end of the day, the heat on him sort of cooled down a bit over the last few weeks and stuff. And I think by that Wolves result, everything was running okay, better anyway. I'm really disappointed in that Wolves result in the league. I would have even taken a 1-1 right now when you think about it. And that's pretty bad as well. So, yeah, I'm looking forward to the game Tuesday. Just get the job done. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I don't know if Richarlison's going to be available for it or not, but I agree. We can't have the same mistake happen. We can't make the same mistake or allow for the same mistake to happen, which is allow for Spurs to stick around, like they did, or Spurs to stick around the way we let Wolves. We have to have an early start. Yeah, I'll ask real quick. Do you start Rio in that game, or do you not?
I wouldn't mind, but it won't happen. But It was good to see him get a lot of minutes yesterday. You never know, bro. But we're beating Spurs.
Okay.
Yeah. We're beating Spurs. Come on.
If Maka is available, do you start Maka?
Against Galatasaray?
Against Spurs.
Yeah, of course.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, for me, he played good yesterday against Wolves in the cup. I watched his game tightly. He just kept the ball, kept just moving it. It was good to see. He just sat. He sat yesterday. I've seen him sitting quite a lot. He had a good game for me, McAllister.
If we have
Our
any
midfield was better,
Gravenberch
bro.
playing well together, we're sorted. Aren't
Only
we?
because
Like, we've
Florian.
had like.
Sorry, go
Come
ahead.
Go on, Lee. 12.
No, all I was going
That's
to say is
because
that because Florian Wirtz is back. That's why I was going to say.
Yeah.
Yeah, everyone's scared, innit? They get their place taken, so they just put the foot down a bit.
No, I mean I meant like as in Florian Wirtz being back means that either there's only three positions in the midfield, which is 10 and the 2 pivots, right? So therefore, you know, if you start
McAllister will have
Wirtz,
to sit more, yeah.
McAllister would have to sit, or you're going to have to sit Dom,
Yeah.
or you're going to have to sit Graf. You're going to sit one of those 3 players because chances are Wirtz plays, and that's my question. I'm
Me,
saying
the pressure
that's
is
why
more on Mo and Cody because you can't be leaving Sobo out and you can't leave Wirtz out. You can't leave Ryan or Mac out either. At the moment, like all 4 of them have got to play, so it only leaves like 2 places for forwards.
But then you can go with the 4 in midfield and play up the 2 up top, Salah and Ekatike off each other, away from home. I'd probably go with that as well. I wouldn't even mind paying Curtis saying that. You know what I mean, bro?
When we were playing really shit earlier in the season, and he did drop Mo, it was Szoboszlai popped in there, like, and we started having a 4 in midfield. But, do you know what I mean? It was still the same shape essentially, like, but we have 4 midfielders, but then we would Sobo wide right, and he was coming inside and helping out, like, and we did arrest that slump we were in by doing that and dropping Mo.
Yeah.
So that is an option for him now that Wirtz is back and that McAllister's looking like something like the player we know he is, because we want him and Gravenberch in tandem. Like, if we're going to do anything, just have my fingers crossed that they're all fit now till the end of the season, so we can do what we need to do to make next season one in the Champions League. It'd be crap if Virgil's not in the Champions League in his final season. What an insult of a bloody thing that'd be from the footballing fates, like, to impose on Virgil playing in the bloody Europa League in his final season. Can't be
I hope we'll qualify. We'll probably win it as well. What I was going to quickly say is because of the numbers in midfield and that, I'm willing. I like Szoboszlai at right back. I think he plays better at right back than he does in midfield. And with that, he plays like a free roll right back, a little bit like Trent. And he's defending sound as well. So I got no worry about that. They've got Barris, this guy called Barris, who plays on the wing. He's a bit of a trickster, so you have to watch him. And then with that, bro, I would play Konate, Virgil, Robertson. Gomez I would keep as security for centre backs because in that type of game it could get messy. Might have to sub a centre back in, and you got cover for right back with him as well. And then in the midfield, you just play Curtis, McAllister, Gravenberch, and Wirtz, and play Ekatike and Salah off them up top. That's the team I'm going with, bro.
Okay.
No, yeah, but Pops, the only reason why I say Dom at right back, look at Dom's game against Wolves in the midfield. In the Premier League the other day, and look at his game at right back yesterday. Totally different ball game, bro. We control our midfield was better yesterday. It was weird. We won that game because of our midfield. Because McAllister, Gravenberch, and Jones played a good game. Sorry, but that's it is. But it's only for now. But because of our right back situation, Frimpong's back as well. So that's another thing we got to look at.
No, I know that as it's just interesting. You sound like Mons. That's what I was thinking. I'm sorry.
Who?
Montes thing is you with the right back with Thomas Vaslai's right back. That's just funny. He's all about
No.
Mons is
Good
all
luck, bro.
about
Look how many
right back.
times.
Mhm.
Look how many times the brothers played there. So for me, wanting it now for considering just this week's games. Look at Sabotslai yesterday. How our midfield sort of was sound, and look at the Wolves Premier League game. It's just because of that. We could play Gomez there, right back. You know what I mean? We could.
I'd
But at the end of the day,
rather
he
see
got cover.
Gomez at right back. I'd rather see Robbo at right back than see Dom at right back anymore. I just think you take too much out of our midfield by making him play right
It
back.
does, doesn't it? Like, it's been a pain, a recurring pain this season, like, to have to put so many different players at right back.
Yeah, but
Almost
what?
unbelievable
Go
at
on.
times, like the injury curse we've had in that position this season. I've seen it happen to other clubs before where they have that in a season, just in one particular position, they can't catch a break. And everyone has to play there, all hands after
But you see what it is with Sabotslai, bro. Him as a footballer, he's got a big brain, and he is the type of guy who would still play midfield. See, like the way Trent played football, he didn't just sit at right back like the old school Gary Neville's and these type of guys. You know, just sat there, didn't cross the halfway line. Sabotslai is a footballer, bro, and he's the same sort of DNA as Trent. Free spirit.
What makes it
gets him out.
easy for him? He's got strength and he's got enough pace to stay with a wide player, like, you know what I mean? Because he's an athletic like player and that, like, and he's a good specimen, and he doesn't tire very much, does he? Right? So he's a natural shoe-in. Curtis, not so much when he plays there. He can try it and help out, like, but really we get caught out when Curtis plays there.
That's the thing, Lee. Exactly what I was thinking about 2 minutes ago about that. Curtis Sam, but I don't want to see Curtis at right back. I think Curtis had probably one of his best games yesterday. Goal and assist, job done. So I'm playing Curtis against in Istanbul. Yeah. Him, Robertson, I'm keeping in the team, bro.
Okay.
Bring the old school brothers back. Yeah. Just the right back situation. You either can go Frimpong or Szoboszlai or Gomez. Gomez, I'm keeping on the bench. Even though, I tell you the truth, I'd love to play Virgil and Gomez, keep an eye on the bench. Depends on how you're going to handle Osman, if he's allowed to play. Top goal, red arm tear from Jones. I watched it again a few times, and the play getting into that goal from Szoboszlai, the way the team did it. We played good football yesterday, bro. I can't believe what I'm saying here now. Yesterday was the first time I said, you know what? We're playing some good football this second half, like real good football. Haven't seen it really all season. But yesterday was probably the best football I've seen from Arne Slot's team. So that was good to see. You know, we could be here cursing Slot all the time, but why should we do agendas? But I'm just saying right now that yesterday was probably the best football I've seen from an Arne Slot team yesterday, second half.
Okay. All right. Easy enough. Lee, what do you have to say to the people before we let them go? We're at the 3-hour mark. We're gonna have to end this show at some point. So
cheers to everyone who's been in chat earlier on and who's still in, nice one. Hopefully we'll have some more good news on Tuesday, and then we've got 4 days, haven't we, until the Sunday game against Spurs. So yeah, keep positive, isn't it? See you all again soon.
Cheers to that. How about for you, JK?
Yeah, same as bro. Bless up the panel on the chat as always. Heads up, we're gonna win on Tuesday and Sunday. That'd be sound.
There you go.
Nice one, armchair. Top lad.
Top lads for sure. All right, people. It's been a lengthy one. We were only going to go 2 hours, but JK joined, so we extended it. We also wanted to see the end of that Newcastle game, so it worked out just right.
Who do you want next round, bro? Man City at home would be nice. Lost to them twice. Let's win them, beat them in the third time round. Yeah. Man City at home. Come on.
Yeah. That's a tough one. As long as we get a home match, that's all I care about.
Yeah.
Because it's going to be a difficult game. Which whoever we get, it's going to be a difficult game for us to get through to the semis. So I had a little bit of a Red Zen for you. This is an easy one for me. We'll end it with a little Red Zen, like I said. Mohamed Salah has gotten a goal in this previous game. And with that goal against Wolves, it was his 254th goal for Liverpool. For context, Wayne Rooney has scored 253 goals for Manchester United. Let that sit for just a moment. Liverpool's greatest modern forward. Some argue Red Devils' greatest forward. Yet, our right winger, has more goals than any Manchester United player.
Man.
That is wild.
Yeah.
Big up to Mohamed Salah. I'm going to leave you with this as your Red Zen here. Mohamed Salah has now scored more goals for Liverpool than anyone has ever scored for Manchester United. A good,
there you go, bro.
I think what hits even harder is the fact that a good number of those goals were against Manchester United. So,
I was going to say that. I was about to say that as well.
So how
What a
about
guy for
that?
bro? So happy when he scored yesterday. I was like, come on. You know what I mean? So happy for him. He had that little smile. He had that different smile about him. But fair play. More goals on Man United, any player.
Definitely. So there's your moment of Red Zen, people. We are going to be, whoops, let me bring this back here. We are going to be back tomorrow. We'll have a show tomorrow. It'll be at around the same time. I believe it'll be like, I'll get the show in at like 8 p.m. UK time. What I would love for everyone to do is to hit that like button. Please do subscribe if you haven't. Also, tell a friend to tell a friend, as they say on a couple of different broadcasts. I know Beijing Reds likes to say that term. I'm not trying to steal their thunder with that coinage, but definitely tell a friend to have them join us as well on the channel. The numbers always help. Your support is immense, and it is well appreciated. We will be back, like I said, tomorrow. And other than that, I'd say up the Reds. Be sure to Lee and JK stick around for like two seconds after the show. And we will definitely see you guys tomorrow. I wish you guys a great day, great week, and our middle of the weekend. And see you tomorrow, guys. Up the Reds each and every time. Take care.